Turn around. Make a U-turn. Make a U-turn. Make a U-turn.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, August 29th, 2013. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 543.
This is No Agenda.
Peer-reviewed for your protection here in the Travis Heights hideout in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Tejas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I go by the Kosovo protocols, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Oh, man. It's like, sometimes it's annoying when we have exactly the same research, or when we have the exact same conclusion. The Kosovo protocol, yeah.
Well, at least I got to beat you to the punch.
You did. It's that is exactly what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. I actually have a definitive clip on it. I think it's from a woman named Phyllis Bennis who writes books about this stuff, and she was on Democracy Now! And she explained the whole thing. It was kind of funny because you saw the same press conference I did, I'm sure, with the dingbat. In fact,
I actually, and maybe this might flow nicely into yours. I have Elliot Engel.
Okay,
he's a Democrat, and he was on the BBC. And you know when our Congress critters feel like, you know, when they go on the BBC, they feel like no one's watching. You know, so we're just talking to the Brits over there, and that an interesting slips out.
Yeah, this is like you go to Vegas and nobody's ever going to notice.
No one saw me with a hooker.
Notice you're wandering around town with a hooker.
It's like no one saw me with the tranny hooker. No, it didn't happen at all. This might slide in nicely. When I heard this, I was like, oh, here's the first guy to bring up the Kosovo meme, and you actually have a better name for it, the protocol. Well, I'll just slide this in and let you take it from there.
That there will be a price to pay for killing innocent men, women, and children with gas. I mean, he's got so many stockpiles of it. If he thinks he can get away with it, he'll do it again, and so will 100 other despots in the world. And that's why I think it's important for the West to send a message. Now, I don't think the U.S. should do it alone. I think it needs to be done in conjunction with our NATO allies. I liken this situation to the 1999 situation in Kosovo, in the Balkans, where you had a besieged population being murdered by its own government, and NATO stepped in with airstrikes.
Yeah. You mean Clinton stepped in with airstrikes.
Exactly.
NATO,
so we found this 1999 thing was actually brought up by everybody at the State Department press conferences now are just hounding this blondie, that squeaky voice woman.
You mean Marie?
Yeah, Marie.
I love her. Did you get clips? Because I got a few as well.
Well, I got this one, but this is where it was first brought up. She wouldn't really answer it. In fact, it became kind of funny, and I just took the funny part. And this is the clip that says, "Some time ago, gotcha." Yeah, I know it's going to be the whole show. It's, dingbat is the. Oh,
okay.
Dingbat.
All right, gotcha.
I got 3 dingbat. I'm categorizing my clips now.
I might point out that we're getting angry emails about our categorization of spokesholes in Washington. Just letting you know.
So okay, I'm sorry I used the word dingbat.
That the U.S. decision to bomb Kosovo Serbia in 99 was legal?
I'm not going to do a legal analysis on many things, but certainly not a historical event that happened some time ago. I just don't think that's relevant for this discussion today.
Well, all historical events happened some time ago.
You know, it's becoming unfair. Even though she's been a spokeshole for the CIA, it's off kilter. You know, she can't. Is that the term? She just can't handle. I mean, these are some very seasoned people who cover the State Department, and they can do it because they know the stuff they talk about is never aired on television or on the radio.
No, never.
Ever. I mean, the only place you hear about it is here, essentially. So they can really go all out, and they're not afraid of her. They're just not afraid of her. I don't want to stop your flow. I mean, I have a clip from her as well, which...
Yeah, but that's just not about her. Here, let's play the Phyllis Bennis discussion. This is a longer clip, but I think it wraps the whole thing into a nice package.
And Phyllis Bennis, what kind of legal justification then do you think that the Obama administration might use for this, and what kinds of options are available to him?
Well, you know, the decision to go to the Security Council that the British are doing today is, as you mentioned earlier, guaranteed to get a veto, certainly by Russia, likely by China as well, although it's conceivable China could abstain, but they're likely to veto. They may not even get 9 sufficient votes. But what's dangerous here is that the United Nations Charter, which is the fundamental component of international law governing issues of war and peace, is very, very clear on what constitutes the legal use of military force. There is no question that having used chemical weapons, whoever used it, is a huge war crime. It's a specific violation of the Chemical Weapons Treaty. It's also a war crime or potentially even a crime against humanity. The problem is we don't know yet who is responsible. The U.S. is hinting that it may use the Kosovo precedent of 1999 as a way to get around the prohibition, the absolute prohibition, on using military force unless it is immediate self-defense, which no one in Washington is claiming that the use of these horrible weapons in Syria somehow threatens the United States. So that's off the table. Or that the Security Council agrees, which we know is not going to happen. The Kosovo precedent basically said in 1999, we know we can't get support from the Security Council. Russia will veto. Therefore, we won't ask the Security Council. We'll ask the NATO High Command. So they went to NATO, and what a surprise. The NATO High Command said, yes, we approve the use of military force in Kosovo. Now, the problem is twofold. One, NATO is a military structure. It's like a hammer and a nail. If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you're NATO, everything looks like it requires a military response. The other problem is legal. There is simply no legal justification that says that the NATO High Command or any other organization has the right to determine the legality of the use of force other than the UN Security Council. So if that is the justification, it will stand in complete violation of international law.
Yeah. Okay, a couple things wrong with that. First of all, the president himself, yesterday, in an interview for the NewsHour, said that we are specifically at risk from these chemical weapons. Did you catch his little interview there?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was going to try to clip out of it, but then I said, I bet Adam would get this.
To justify taking action, I know you talked about international norms because of chemical.
This, by the way, cracks me up. There is no, so they talk about, there's no talk about international law. It's about international norms. Norm. Hey, Norm!
Hey, Norm!
Hey, Norm, get me another beer.
Norms. I've heard that. There's 2 memes that I wanted to point out on today's show. One is international norms, which is become a major meme. They keep using it, and they all use it.
Yeah.
And the other one is punishment.
Right.
Which is they keep saying we need to punish them.
You know what?
What is this? We got to punish.
You know what it reminds me of? My mom used to threaten me that if I was really bad, she would spank me with the hairbrush, bristle side down. It was one thing to get it with the hairbrush, but when she threatened bristle side down, that was some punishment right there. And that's what, whenever I hear that punishment, here's the president, I'll just briefly, because I was amazed by this interview that he gave. Here he is with this, he uses the word norm 15 times in this one clip.
And so we've been very restrained, although diplomatically we've been very active. We've been providing a lot of humanitarian aid to people who've been displaced by the war. But what I also said was that if the Assad regime used chemical weapons on his own people, that would change some of our calculations.
Yeah, that's not exactly what he said, by the way. I remember it being a red line, and now it's changing some of the calculations. I think that's neither here nor there, but I just want to point it out.
And the reason has to do with not only international norms, but also America's core self-interest.
There's norms.
We've got a situation in which you've got a well-established international norm against the use of chemical weapons. Syria has one.
I just got to stop here. Let me tell you why he's using the word norm. The reason why he's using the word norm is because the Chemical Weapons Convention which was signed in January of 1993, has not been signed by all countries or ratified by all countries. And wouldn't you know it, if you look at countries that have signed but not ratified, Israel has signed but not ratified. Myanmar, also known as Burma, has signed but not ratified. And countries that did not sign the Chemical Weapons Convention were Angola, Egypt, North Korea, South Sudan, and Syria. So they can't talk about international law, or as the president would say, the rules of war, which to me is the most obscene phrase in the universe. But here he is, I'll just go back to the original clip, explaining why a strike is justified.
Weapon use, but not because of the 100,000 people who were killed there in the past and the 2 million refugees who fled across the border.
Well, what's happened has been heartbreaking, but when you start talking about chemical weapons in a country that has the largest stockpile of chemical weapons in the world, where over time their control over chemical weapons may erode, where they're allied to known terrorist organizations that in the past have targeted the United States, then there is a prospect, a possibility in which chemical weapons that can have devastating effects could be directed at us.
Oh, well, there you go, John. You've heard it here first.
Boy, there's a stretch.
Yeah, they can be directed at us. You know, I thought Peter King, who is the Republic douche, and he was on, I don't know what exactly he was on. He makes it so much. The president is, took 40 minutes to get to this point of, they could be directed at us, these chemical weapons. Peter King is much easier. And you've just got to admire the brazenness of what you were about to hear.
Right to act without authority.
Presidents have done this consistently. President Reagan did it in Grenada. President Eisenhower did it in Lebanon. As commander-in-chief, he has the right to begin military actions. Now, if he's smart, he would certainly consult with the House and Senate leaders, with the members of the top people on the Intelligence Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, but he doesn't have to. As commander-in-chief, I believe strongly the president has the constitutional right to carry this out. So it's really two different issues. One, he has the right to do it, but secondly, I think he'd be very smart to consult with the leadership, not with all of Congress and something like this.
I'm taking his own words as a senator, Boston Globe, 2008, quote, Senator Obama, the president does not have the power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual imminent threat to the nation. Yeah. Those are his words.
Yeah, and to me, the hardest thing to do with President Obama is keep track of what he says from one day to the next. Just like, for instance, he was against Guantanamo. Guantanamo is still open. He's carrying out drone attacks. All of these things he's doing, it's inconsistent. It's wrong. I'm not here defending President Obama. I'm just defending the office of the president.
Can you defend the threat to the United States that comes from Syria? What is that?
The threat is, it's two. One, I think chemical weapons are a threat to everyone. Once that line has been crossed, that puts the entire world at risk as far as the threshold being crossed.
You know, it's interesting. Do you remember when Russia gassed that movie theater in Chechnya?
Yeah.
There was no international outrage about that. And they killed 100 people. Granted, 400 lived because, they didn't, choke on their own vomit. But there was no international outrage. By the way, bio-warfare is not, there's no treaty for that. So if you want to anthrax people or throw depleted uranium, that's okay.
Yeah, which is a horrible product.
No, it's an outstanding product. You know my stance on this.
What, old beat up old uranium chunks? Laying all over the place?
Yes, this is fantastic. No, so 2002, Chechen terrorists held 700 Russians hostage in a Moscow theater. And the Russians threw in some kind of gas. And, there was no problem there. If anything, what has happened right now is we are occupying Cyprus, that's for sure. Which is kind of, you look at what happened in Cyprus and how, the whole banking thing and the bail-in and everyone's money was taken and the Russians were kicked out, essentially. And the IMF came in and took over. And now that's where we're staging everything. You have to think that staging is actually, look at the word staging in a broad sense right now. And this and a lot of it seems to be very planned. Anyway, the president in his interview actually did just come out and say what this is about, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
And so we don't have good options, great options for the region. But what I am clear about is that if the United States stands by its core values and its core interests, if we're very clear about making sure that we're stopping terrorist attacks against the United States, if we are very clear about our commitment to the safety and security of Israel.
Let's just tick them off for a second here. First, terrorist attacks, because that, of course, is Syria, is a hotbed of terrorist activity. 2 is our friend Israel. And what could the third one be?
If we are clear about the free flow of energy throughout the region.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No, the
free flow of energy.
Flow is the right word.
Flow is exactly the right word.
So I felt that Peter King clip was, this guy is like a member of Congress, and he's essentially abrogating a congressional power.
Yes.
Which is a disgusting, almost, I think that's treasonous, that, to be honest about, in terms of the Constitution, which he's supposed to uphold.
He even says that he says constitutionally the president has the right.
I know, he's full of crap.
Yeah.
And by the way, so here's a clip. Play this one. It's at the end of the list, and the key word at the front is old.
Yep, got it.
Play that.
The United States had launched an attack on Iran without congressional approval. That would have been an impeachment.
Yeah, this clip. It's funny because I was like, I'm not going to bring that one up again. But
I just play it.
No, you went back to the well. I like it.
Offense. Do you want to review that comment you made? Well, how do you stand on that now?
Yes, I do. I want to stand by that comment I made. The reason I made the comment was as a warning. The reason I don't say those things lightly, Chris. You've known me for a long time. I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee for 17 years, or its ranking member. I teach separation of powers and constitutional law. This is something I know. So I got together and brought a group of constitutional scholars together to write a piece that I'm going to deliver to the whole United States Senate, pointing out the president has no constitutional authority to take this nation to war against a country of 70 million people unless we're attacked or unless there is proof that we are about to be attacked. And if he does, I would move to impeach him. The House obviously has to do that, but I would lead an effort to impeach him. The reason for my doing that, I don't say it lightly.
That was very funny.
I mean, come on.
I was talking with Ms. Mickey this morning. And it's so obvious that this is the other Obama, this guy, and she has a hard time buying into your theory. I might point out that there are 2 Obamas, although really
this guy that needs to put some Grecian formula on his head.
Well, so of course, both inauguration ceremonies have been done over. We've had President Obama has been inaugurated 4 times. And both of them, I mean, this is unprecedented. Once it had happened before, but for it to happen twice. And it happened somewhere in June, just before he went to Europe, when he did the switch was just before he did the speech in Germany. And that's where his speech skills started to suck. And it was so apparent when, I don't know if you saw or heard any of the Martin Luther King Jr. 50 years after stuff that took place all day yesterday. The president, he does this, the words are there. I mean, so his speechwriters are still good, and the media still goes, "Oh, it's so beautiful, don't you agree?" But it's really not good anymore. This is the war guy. The other guy, I think he's in the freezer at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is the other guy, and he means business, and he scares me. He really does. Not as much as Chuck Hagel, by the way.
Chuck Hagel.
For those of you who have forgotten, we have a new defense secretary.
The first guy who did a challenge coin that just says Chuck Hagel.
He should have just said Chuck.
There's nothing else. It's just his signature. It's challenge coin. It's not the Defense Department challenge coin.
No, it's Chuck. It's just Chuck.
Coin.
Here's Chuck.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that any intervention in Syria without a UN mandate would be a grave violation of international law. Do you accept that?
Well, I think the law of international humanitarian standards is a pretty important law. We work through international bodies. Of course we do. And we are.
I can't believe that he is saying this, by the way. Of course, our law, it's all international. It's not American law. It's not Constitution. No, it's international. This is what Libya set this precedent for us, by the way.
Have to be a UN resolution.
Well, I would say the same thing that your foreign minister said, I believe, that no nation, no group of nations is bound by only one dimension of whether they make a decision to respond.
Listen to how out of depth this guy is. He is talking out of his butt.
To any self-defense or any other violation of the kind of humanitarian violations that we saw in Syria. We are working with the United Nations. Our partners are working with the United Nations. And that's appropriate action today.
We said we'd talk about the military options. What are they? I mean, presumably they range from, I don't know, Tomahawk cruise missiles, strike to anything to troops on the ground and an invasion in the style of Iraq in 2003.
You should be Minister of Defense. You've just laid out a different range of options.
You're very good, actually. You should be Minister of Defense. That is a sign of weakness in an interview when you do that. Huge sign of weakness. I apologize to the international community on behalf of our idiotic defense minister. And I'd also like to apologize about our idiotic watermelon head Secretary of State, John F. Kerry, as he likes to sign his name, who wants to be president. Did you see his despicable speech about this?
Oh, yeah, it was a beauty.
Here he is. It's the science is in proof. We have unequivocal proof that this took place. Why? Because, well, we've got YouTube videos.
These all strongly indicate that everything these images are already screaming at us is real.
It's real.
The chemical weapons were used.
They were
in
used.
Syria.
It's real.
Moreover, we know that the Syrian regime maintains custody of these chemical weapons.
Yes.
We know that the Syrian regime has the capacity to do this with rockets. We know that the regime has been determined to clear the opposition from those very places where the attacks took place. And with our own eyes, we have all of us become witnesses.
Hey, stop. Did he say, because I didn't know, some of these things you don't hear right away, did he say that the Syrians cleared the opposition, implying that they cleared the opposition so they could kill their own people?
Let's listen again. That was, I think you may have a good point there. Let's go back a few seconds here.
Been determined to clear the opposition from those very places.
Determined. Let's see. Let's go back a little more.
We know that the regime has been determined to clear the opposition from the...
Has been determined, yeah.
No. What he said was clear the opposition by killing them.
Yes.
Not clearing them from the scene, which is what it sounded
Same
like.
thing. I think it's the same.
Those very places where the attacks took place. And with our own eyes,
yes,
we have all of us become witnesses.
We've all seen the YouTube videos. Fact, truth.
We have additional information about this attack. And that information is being compiled and reviewed together with our partners, and we will provide that information in the days ahead.
As you can imagine, there were some questions about said information, and Marie Harf answered.
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics about our diplomatic conversations with anybody on this, except to say what we've said over the weekend, that the Secretary has been very clear about our assessment of what happened in the situation, and that chemical weapons use is completely unacceptable. I think he also made a very strong point today that anybody who thinks that this could be manipulated evidence, that these videos could be doctored somehow, need to check their conscience.
Check your conscience, bitches! Videos can't be doctored on YouTube. You need to check your conscience. That is crazy talk. You must be a conspiracy theorist.
Because it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So I think that's a key point.
It's like that. Remember the video at kids are doing these videos, like that bird that came down and took the baby?
Hey, there was this movie called Avatar where the people were blue and could fly.
Those are the pros.
There was this movie called Titanic where this whole ship went down. And Leonardo DiCaprio died, and then he came back in The Great Gatsby. It's ridiculous to think that any video can be manipulated. It's just ridiculous. It's just crazy talk. You are just nuts. Nuts, I tell you.
There was one scene, I think it was on CBS, where they showed one of these videos, and then they panned across all these dead bodies, just kind of piled up helter skelter, and then I swear that there's a couple dolls in there.
You know, we got an email from somebody, I think you were copied on it, and it was essentially fighting me on my stance on chemical weapons. And as you know, I think that they're just fine because, you know, at least you don't get ripped apart and are left bleeding to die for days on end. It happens quick. And so the email was essentially, well, you know what it feels like to take drugs, don't you? Well, this is exactly the opposite. And went into, you know, how you immediately start feeling sick, you drop down, you're convulsing, you're puking, you're foaming at the mouth, and then, you know, you're dying a horrible death. What you are not doing is getting to the hospital to be doused down with water. You know, there's a huge discrepancy in these videos. If this is a very valid chemical attack, you're not going to the hospital. You're just not.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. I do have a clip that I didn't bring because obviously I have too many clips. I'm spending my time here trying to figure out what these clips are.
You didn't bring the clip?
But there's a clip that I will play on Sunday that actually takes your side.
Yeah.
Of the chemical weapon debate.
Well, my side is it's good.
Well,
no, and look, I don't think killing people is good at all. But why all of a sudden we are...
just save it for Sunday.
Okay. I do have a beef. I'm a little peeved that at Spokeshole Carney's little show there, someone used your specific phrase. A press guy in the press audience there used your phrase with no credit to the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe.
His options. Does he want to take out Assad? And would his death be a welcomed outcome at this White House?
I appreciate the question. I want to make clear that the options that we are considering are not about regime change. They are about...
By the way, I need to say, what? This is new? It's not about regime change now? Wait a minute.
Yeah, they make a big stink about this, and I think there's some legal... It's the same reason they're using the term...
norm.
Norm.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with... There's some legal reason they're saying this.
Because regime change means the guy gets to leave and you put a new guy in, and if you shoot a cruise missile at him, it's not regime change. It's what is it called? Oh yeah, murder. Assassination.
Responding to a clear violation of an international standard that prohibits the use of chemical weapons.
Now wait for it.
We are also very much engaged in an effort to support the opposition in its struggle with the Assad regime as the Assad regime continues to try to massacre its own people in an effort to maintain power.
I just, you are being mind controlled with this talk. I know you all do realize that only a couple of years ago, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt were hanging out with the Assads, and it was all good. Angelina Jolie, who is the ambassador for refugees, she apparently thought it was okay to hang out with Assad and his wife, who was featured in Vogue magazine, who is an international celebrity, up until it was no longer cool. So I just, you have to know that this is psychological warfare on your mind to feel like it's okay for us to kill people.
And it is our firm conviction that Syria's future cannot include Assad in power.
No.
But this deliberation and the actions that we are contemplating are not about regime change.
Not about regime change.
And we believe, as I said earlier in answer to Mark's question, that resolution of this conflict has to come through political negotiation and settlement.
And because so much blood and treasure...
Oh, what? Blood and treasure is back. Stand by.
...been spilled and spent in both Afghanistan and Iraq. If some sort of military action will be taken, obviously the president will be talking about that to the American people. But how much should the American people prepare themselves for in terms of sacrifices being made by people inside the armed forces? And are there cost estimates being put together in terms of how much this is going to cost, and will it run us up against that debt ceiling sooner than expected?
I've also noticed, John, in this particular conference, the camera clicks are prevalent, which is not normal for a Carney show.
Oh, good call.
Right? There's something up with this.
Makes no sense.
Something up with that. Okay, here comes the blatant theft of your
How about
phrase.
this for an idea? Wait. the camera clicks are actually Morse code. For someone out there listening in,
I shall go back and I will listen again with. I'll make a point of doing that later.
All excellent questions. Most of them assuming a decision has been made, and I'm not going to sort of speculate about a decision that hasn't been made yet. So a lot of those questions will certainly take once the president has announce the course of action that he's chosen. But what I can tell you is the president has made clear that he does not envision a situation in Syria that would lead to U.S. boots on the ground. And that remains the case. And I've also tried to make clear that...
boots in the air.
Did you hear it? He said, you mean boots in the air.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
No, it's not funny. He should say boots in the air, as per John C. Dvorak of the No Agenda Show, best podcast in the universe.
Well, let's play a couple of more, which we got a bunch of these to get rid of. First of all, let's play one of the early incidences of the punish thing, and this is called, it's simply called the punish clip.
I have punish clip Pelly.
That's it, yes.
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
Good evening. You just heard the Secretary of Defense say it. U.S. military forces are ready to go if and when the president gives the green light for a strike against Syria. This would be punishment for that chemical weapons attack last week that left more than 300 Syrian civilians dead, many of them women and children. Vice President Biden today became the highest-ranking administration official to declare that the Assad regime was behind that attack. The Syrian government denies it.
Yeah.
Now, I can play another punishment thing, which is the other punish use of the word, just showing that it is a meme that's trending.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
So,
and then
Mark,
I'll
as
play
you said, this military strike could come soon. A tricky calculation by the Obama administration. They want to strike hard enough to punish the Assad regime, but they don't want to get pulled into a prolonged war.
I'm telling you, it's bristle side down this time.
You're going to punish him.
You're going to punish
now, so where does this idea that they're absolutely sure that the Assad guys use the weapons? So the clip I misspelled, it's Semocracy Now. It's all totally garbled.
That's all right. I got it.
Play that clip, and this is again Phyllis Bennis, who seems to have the right answer.
Democracy Now! What evidence has the U.S. or Britain presented showing that the Syrian government definitively used chemical weapons in the attack in Ghouta?
So far, no evidence has been presented as to who carried out this attack. The reports that will come from the UN inspectors will not include an investigation of who carried out the attack. Their mandate is quite narrow, just to find out what was used. Was it indeed a chemical weapon, as is assumed, but not certainly proven yet? But they will not be bringing in evidence of who carried it out. There is a report yesterday in Yediot Aharonot, the Israeli mass daily, claiming that it was Israeli officials who provided the Obama administration with what is considered by Obama's people, apparently, to be definitive proof that it was the regime in Syria. We have yet to see any of that information. So far, it is simply the assertion by Vice President Biden, implied by Secretary Kerry and others, that there is evidence. It has not been seen.
Hold on. Let's go back to Kerry for a second. I have more of his proof of the evidence.
Last night, after speaking with foreign ministers from around the world about the gravity of this situation, I went back and I watched the videos. The videos that anybody can watch in the social media.
It's on the social medias, John. Have you not watched it? It's the proof.
Videos.
It's the social media.
The guy is an idiot.
Yeah, but this is great because this is his fact. His proof is social media.
Social media. And I watched them one more gut-wrenching time. It is really hard to express in words the human suffering that they lay out before us. As a father, I can't get the image out of my head of a man who held up his dead child, wailing while chaos swirled around him. The images of entire families dead in their beds without a drop of blood.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Did you see
I didn't either, no.
I like the without a drop of blood. Yeah.
Or even a visible wound.
Or foam or puke. Yeah.
Bodies contorting in spasms. Human suffering that we can never ignore or forget. Anyone who could claim that an attack of this staggering scale could be contrived or fabricated needs to check their conscience and their own moral compass.
This guy better check his believability.
He better check
the guy is a dupe.
He better check his waterhead is what he better check. He might knock that thing open. Here's we have to broaden the scope here, because even though the American population will be providing its blood and treasure to go and kill these people for the free flow of energy in the region. Here is Cameron and Shadow Prime Minister Clegg with their reasoning.
Any action we take or others take would have to be legal, would have to be proportionate.
Legal?
It would have to be specifically to deter and degrade the future use of chemical weapons.
Punishment.
Let me stress to people, this is not about getting involved in a Middle Eastern war or changing our stance in Syria.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't see that happening. No.
Going further into that conflict. It's nothing to do with that. It's about chemical weapons. Their use is wrong, and the world shouldn't stand idly by.
The murder of innocent men, women and children through the use of chemical weapons is a repugnant crime and a flagrant abuse of international law. And if we stand idly by, we set a very dangerous precedent indeed, where brutal dictators and brutal rulers will feel they can get away with using chemical weapons.
This is why you need to punish them, John, because if you don't punish the kid, then other kids will start stealing money from the piggy bank.
Just like chewing gum.
That's right.
On a larger and larger scale in the future. These are weapons which were used on a large scale in the First World War and banned back in the 1920s. So what we're considering is a serious response to that.
No.
So I've got it. No, so Cameron went out on the stump, and he's been pounding the same drum. This is NBC has a bunch of these lone. They keep them on one of their pages. They're just a bunch of clips they never used, and I got two of them that are they're just straight up. There's no interview or just a guy yakking away. And this is Cameron's appalled. Same kind of clip as that one.
Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
I understand people's concerns about getting involved in wars in the Middle East, getting sucked into the situation in Syria. This is not about wars in the Middle East. This is not even about the Syrian conflict. It's about the use of chemical weapons and making sure as a world we deter their use and we deter the appalling scenes that we've all seen on our television screens.
So this is a different clip than the one you had.
Yeah.
But essentially he's got his talking points. These are just nothing but talking points.
Yeah.
And in the same pile of clips of just these guys, I ran into the classic again, just sitting there by itself. McCain, the clip is called McCain's
I got it. Douchebaggery, yeah.
2 years ago, the President of the United States said Bashar Assad must go. A year ago, he said that if they use chemical weapons, they'd cross a red line. They already did before. Now they did again. The United States has little or no credibility as far as our threats as to what to do in the region. We need to take out his air capabilities. We need to take out his command and control. We need to give the fighters the equipment that they need in order to succeed. That should be the policy. So far, that has not been the policy.
Okay, let me just say that people like McCain, people like who's the douchebag that I played, the
Cameron.
Cameron, of course, but also the Elliot Engel, but also Peter King. These people are part of the fossil fuel industrial complex, which meshes and melds nicely with the military industrial complex. This is all about, and the president just said it. I mean, you heard him say it's about the free flow of energy in the region, and that's what it's always been about. And for the American people, certainly, but certainly I would say the British people as well, to stand idly by and accept the same psychological attack on the people to go, okay, that was used for Iraq is mind-boggling to me. Except now it's chemical weapons versus weapons of mass destruction. It is exactly the same thing for exactly the same reasons.
Yeah, it's the same script, but some of the stuff crossed out and penned in.
Not even. They just put pencil in case we need to go to Lebanon next, which we will. I have. I would like to wrap up my clippage with the final piece here from the president. Which is the kind of his wrap up on this this interview that he did for the NewsHour, which he had to, the two women had to show up to do this. Gwen and who's the other lady?
Gwen Eiffel and the the one who's actually the anchor or one of the blondie.
Yeah, the blondie, exactly. So it was a double interview.
And why is Eiffel there? She is like a hagiographer of Obama.
She's the plant. She has the scripted questions, and then to make PBS look like they're fair and balanced, they bring in Blondie. Anyway, here he is wrapping it up.
You justify taking action. I know you talked about international norms because of chemical weapon use, but not because of the 100,000 people who were killed there in the past and the 2 million refugees who fled across the border.
Well, what's happened has been heartbreaking, but when you start talking about chemical weapons in a country that has the largest stockpile of chemical weapons in the world, where over time their control over chemical weapons may erode, where they're allied to known terrorist organizations that in the past...
I'm sorry, did I play this one? I think I played this one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's funny. It's still enjoyable.
Nah, well, I have a different one. Let's play a different one because it's all enjoyable.
And potential action in Syria and the collapse of the government in Egypt. Do you worry at all that your administration underestimated what the toll would be of an Arab Spring?
Well, I don't. I think we anticipated this would be a really difficult process. I mean, you've got a region that for decades had basically been under autocratic rule, and people had been suppressed, and there were no traditions of civil society. There were no traditions of political freedom, and then suddenly folks are.
Did he actually say that there was no freedom, there was nothing in the entire region? Did I just hear him say that? Like it was suppressed and you couldn't say anything. And let me think, there was no social media, there were no USAID NGOs in all of these countries riling people up. None of that was possible. None of that was there. It was completely invisible, didn't exist.
Allowed to express themselves, but a lot of their organizing principles end up being around extremist agendas in some cases.
He is literally painting a picture. So you are now supposed to think, as an intelligent person watching PBS, because that's what intelligent people do, that these are just a bunch of dumb sand bunnies sitting around there like, oh, we can't do anything, we're just stupid. It's really an underestimation of what the rest of the world is like. I mean, isn't it? Am I crazy, John? I
think he might be painting that picture. And I think a lot of people probably, most Americans are
dumb.
Most Americans don't have a clue about what's going on around. I mean, I always reminded of my mother. Why do you want to go there? I mean, it's backward.
Yeah,
everything in Europe is backward.
Crazy there.
Why do you want to go to France? It's backward.
It smells like cheese.
It's all from World War I. This thing.
But look at popular culture and what we are taught. Certainly in the United States, what we are taught about what these places look like. Look at the movies. It's like everything's just going to be one big sand-filled, towel head wearing crazy AK-47 firing crapola.
Yeah,
and that's all you're supposed to think about. So imagine my disdain when we had the 50th observation, 50 years after the fact, of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, which, by the way, did you know that is copyrighted and you cannot use that?
Would I have a dream?
That speech was copyrighted. Yeah.
Well, actually, all speeches are copyrighted, I think.
No, but the recording of it
Oh, that could be. I do have since we're on that, I don't want to change the topic to this yet.
Okay.
Because I do have one thing I want to play. In fact, let me play this first before we go off into Martin Luther King.
All right.
This is a long, but this is, since we talked about dumb Americans, if we're going to use, paint everyone with the same big brush.
Yeah.
So I decided, I got the, let's see, where is it? It's the produced rundown. This is the presentation done by the Today Show, which is arguably what most people watch for news, housewives in the Midwest and the rest. This would be what they are fed from the Today Show, which I think it's a nice clip telling the story about the war, possibly. By the way, we should have bombed them last night, the way I see it. I don't know what happened.
It would have been much more fun for the show today, because I hate it when they like we have a show and then we'll be done with the show, the final music, and then 2 hours later like something cool happens, like bombing.
Well, if you want to call that cool, but it is for our show. It's cool
for our show.
It's very cool for the show, and that's all that counts.
Thank you. What else is there in life?
So here's a produced rundown for the Today Show, and this is what the American public were given.
Even as the U.S. military prepares to launch missiles at Syria, a group of renegade computer hackers with close ties to the Syrian military rallied to the defense of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad by attacking, of all things, the New York Times and Twitter. For the second time in 2 weeks, the New York Times website crashed on Tuesday.
Bro!
A group of computer hackers called the Syrian Electronic Army, supporters of Assad, claimed responsibility.
That's right.
The site was down for several hours before it was restored. Twitter, meanwhile, is investigating a hack on its own site. A nuisance, but no national security threat. At least not yet.
They decide to go after financial institutions or other sectors of critical infrastructure. That will be far more concerning to the U.S. government.
All this as the U.S. gears up for an attack of its own on the Syrian military. Cruise missiles will be the U.S. military's weapon of choice. 4 U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyers with up to 90 missiles each and at least 1 submarine are already in position in the eastern Mediterranean. The assault would come at night to reduce the possibility of civilian casualties. At the American Legion...
It will come at night. Hold on, John. I think it's coming right now.
In Houston, Vice President Joe Biden pledged Syria must be held accountable.
There is no doubt who is responsible for this heinous use of chemical weapons in Syria.
No doubt.
The Syrian regime.
The prime targets, planes, rocket launchers, and artillery used to launch deadly chemicals, but not the chemical weapons themselves. And the Syrian leadership, including President Bashar al-Assad, are not on the target list. There's no word yet this morning that President Obama has actually given the order, but once he does, it could be just a matter of hours before those missiles are flying. Matt.
All right. Okay. So I know why it didn't happen last night. That's pretty obvious, John. Duh. We haven't positioned Anderson Cooper yet. Anderson's got to be on the border. We got to get Brolf over there. We got to get Aaron Burnett for the feel-good stories and the sound effects. Here we are at the Syrian border with Turkey. Looks like cruise missiles are coming in. It's going to be great. Can you imagine? We need footage of this. You can't just strike overnight. You need positioning, baby. We need positioning in Jordan. We need positioning in Israel. We need team coverage. Team coverage, I tell you. Thank you, by the way, for these excellent sound effects. These are very, very good. These sound like actual cruise missiles. These two.
Yeah, well, they're taken from a cruise missile launch.
Yes.
And by the way, talking about launches,
very good.
What the hell was this thing?
The launch yesterday from Vandenberg?
Yeah, I have a clip describing it from an LA station.
It was a
spy satellite.
Yeah,
play this clip.
But it was a Delta.
No, it was an Atlas IV,
which is bigger.
It's huge. It's the biggest.
And right now, breaking news on California's Central Coast. A live picture from Vandenberg Air Force Base, where a $1 billion top-secret spy satellite has just been launched into space on top of a powerful Atlas IV rocket. The payload may be top secret, but the launch is anything but. It's hard to hide the sights and sounds of a launch of this size. An unmanned spacecraft, of course. Once fully in orbit, the spy satellite on top of this Atlas IV rocket is expected to be able to distinguish very minute details back here on Earth.
Why do we put up with this? Why? How can I don't understand. John. Okay. All right. Now I got to get into my Martin Luther King thing because this is an important part of it.
The satellite, by the way, is $1 billion satellite. Not to mention what it costs to send it up there. And it's just to spy on us.
Yes. Okay. So I watched the movie Enemy of the State, as I promised I would. And by the way, no sooner had we identified it was not available on Netflix and Amazon and iTunes, as all of a sudden it's available on iTunes, on Netflix, and on Hulu.
Which makes me think it's been doctored.
Edited. So I took notes. I watched the whole thing, and the only things that really stuck out, besides the fact that the John Voight character's birth date is 9/11. Which is always one of those little gotchas, especially before 9/11. And why is it even important?
I know. I felt the same way. And then, by the way, it also looks like an area code 91140, right. Which it isn't, but it is a phone number of some sort of spamming operation. I looked at every possibility of these combination of numbers.
Right. Yeah.
Got nowhere.
But continuously they're talking about the Keyhole data, Keyhole mapping, and of course, Keyhole is the company that Google bought, which became Google Earth. So in a way, they're basically saying the NSA, owns Google, and Google is the NSA, and that was kind of in there. But there was one other thing. At a certain point, they talk about the Epic database. And I was like, really? Epic? Because Epic is like, isn't that the privacy outfit? The Electronic Privacy Institute, something or other?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, and if you consult the Book of Knowledge, you'll probably find it. So they're talking about, we have everyone in the Epic database. I couldn't come up with any other acronym for Epic database, for Epic, other than that. And and essentially it was just predicting our future. Larry King talking about civil liberties instead of what is constitutional rights, which is obvious here. And the only other thing I wrote down is in the beginning it says, at Fort Meade we have 18 acres of mainframe computers underground, and we set that up 20 years ago. So that was essentially now 40 years ago. So you just kind of get the idea as to how advanced all that stuff really is. But I didn't get anything else really from the version of the movie that I saw, at least. Just kind of
right. I may actually, I don't think I have a copy of it either. I looked around. So I don't know. I don't know if we can get a copy of the original film off a DVD. Might find something different. You'd have to run them. The problem is it's not going to be any big deal. It's something we haven't already figured out. And you'd have to run them simultaneously, side by side. It would be interesting to see if something was taken out, because that would be a clue. But it's not. I just not going to do it.
No, I have. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I think I have.
Somebody out there might want to try it and give it a shot. Exactly. Let us know.
All right. Now I just need to get to the Martin Luther King stuff.
Well, before you do, I do have I Have a Dream ditty, which is the commercial they were playing. To me, marginalizing and actually, I think, insulting the entire event. It's a little in between. It's an interstitial commercial that you find on the internet. NBC.
Okay.
Dr. King dreamt of a better future.
I have a dream that we can learn to listen a little better.
That everybody will feel safe in America.
This century can be a century of peace. Now is your chance to share your dream.
I have a dream that people will listen. This is like, it's taken the whole idea. I have a dream that we'd get more donations. In fact, or do a producer segment. I mean, this is ridiculous. I just found it insulting.
Did you see the email that the White House sent out?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I have it in the show notes, actually. It's the president looking up at the statue. It's shot from behind, all like artistic of him looking at Martin Luther King. The whole thing was the Martin Luther King speech. And of course, it was done a year before I was born. So there's no way that I can, that I can even imagine what it was at that point in time. But I do know a little bit about Martin Luther King Jr. And first of all, the president did and I think we might have even, someone sent this to us, and I think we discussed it briefly on email. I just thought it was kind of funny. I did pull the clip. And I see it. I don't think you did. The president was asked, what would Martin Luther King think about things like the president, the job he's doing, and his health, the Affordable Health Care Act.
What do you think he'd say about Obamacare?
Oh, he'd like that. Well, because I think he understood that health care, health security.
Notice the new word here, health security.
Good catch.
Is not a privilege. It's something that a country as wealthy as ours, everybody should have access to. And, starting on October 1st, because of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, anybody who doesn't have health insurance in this country is going to be able to get it at an affordable rate. And we were just talking with some folks earlier about the fact that for a lot of people, it'll be cheaper than your cell phone bill. And as a consequence, you'll be getting free prevention, free checkups, and if, heaven forbid, you get sick or some family member gets sick.
Notice how this is being put. Free. It's all free. You're getting all this free stuff, but it's not free. It's just not free. I worry about these types of terms when you feel like, hey, it's free.
Even if you have a pre-existing condition, you know that you're going to have the security. You're not going to lose your house.
Security.
Suddenly go bankrupt, and you're going to be able to get the treatment that you need. So the key is going to be just signing folks up, and one of the things that we're really going to be emphasizing in the month of September, October, and then all the way through March of next year is letting people know it's simple to sign up. You go to healthcare.gov.
Simple.
You find out exactly what plan is right for you. It's going to be affordable. You're going to be able to get a subsidy, help in terms of paying for it. And we're really counting on everybody out there to get informed. If you know what it's about and you screen out all the misinformation, you'll discover that this is something that really is going to help millions of people.
Hey, where's the cheaper than a phone bill thing? What did he say? Did I miss it?
I didn't hear it in there.
What the hell? Somehow, I'm sorry. At a certain point, the president.
So you played that entire clip for the cheaper than a phone bill,
and it's not in there.
And it's not in there.
I
Thanks.
suck. I suck.
Enjoyed that.
I suck. I'm sorry.
Enjoyed it very much.
I suck. I'm sorry. So the president did at one point say it's for some people it's cheaper than your cell phone bill.
Did he use the word some people?
Yes, for some people.
Oh, that would. Yeah, well, it probably is for some people
who have very expensive cell phone bills.
I mean, my cell phone bill's $30 a month.
Yeah, mine's not. Okay,
I got unlimited data. I got unlimited texting. I don't know why you're paying so much.
I got AT&T. What do you expect? Here is so this whole this was kind of like a 5-day celebration of of course we had to have some stuff happen over the weekend because otherwise people wouldn't be able to watch it. I'll stay home and watch on television. And here's I love Cornel West. He's the funniest guy. Mickey thinks that that when I get older that I'll be kind of like Cornel West.
I think that'd be great.
She says you'll have the crazy hair and the beard and everything. I was like, really?
She's got a nice vision of you.
I don't know.
She sees what's trending.
Here's Cornel West on the celebration.
Very low quality leadership today on the stage. We saw bona fide apologists for the Obama administration. There was no serious talk about Wall Street. There was no serious talk about the new Jim Crow. No serious talk about drones. No serious talk about the U.S. security state. No serious talk about the massive surveillance state. It was about just voters' rights and maybe some vague reference to jobs.
And I thought he was right on. Just like that's exactly what it was. It was like one
him
big.
And Smiley, that guy is not the spy, but
Tavis,
Smiley,
Tavis,
whatever.
Yeah, Tavis Smiley. Yeah.
So he, by the way, a good movie to see. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I realize is one of the two movies that have been out in the last number of years that if I see it on TV, I'll watch it, and I've watched it. And that actually is a complex enough movie that you actually have to watch it a couple of times to get the nuances. Yep. But the other movie that I can't stop watching is Casino.
Really? Because Sharon Stone is extremely hot in that movie.
Oh, she's great. It's just her best acting job ever.
Especially when she's a little drunk. That's kind of
well, that was just most of the movie. But Casino but Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which it's been on HBO the last couple of weeks, is definitely it's a good spy movie, and it's about the Kilby incident in England where they had the one mole that was giving everything to the Russians. Anyway,
but hold on. What does that have to do with Martin Luther King, where I'm leading the conversation? Nothing.
I forgot why I got off that track. That's
just
funny.
Be quiet. Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
I want to play,
but that movie. Check it out.
you're just doing your own thing there. You're doing a whole different show. So are you recording locally for your own little?
Yeah, we're doing a little
for your own show.
On the local side.
So everyone talks about, and we've discussed many times, that Martin Luther King was more than likely assassinated not for his stance on racial equality, but for his fervent protest against the Vietnam War. And so if we are going to...
Did anybody bring up during all these speeches that how the FBI hounded him and they had a huge dossier, and Jackie Kennedy made some comment in one of her books. She thought he was a communist. And
do you know that
he hated this? Everyone hated this guy.
And they had, and it was Robert Kennedy who had him wiretapped. Every single conversation, everything they did was wiretapped.
Yeah, good Democrats out there.
The War Party. So I'm going to play a little bit of a famous speech that Martin Luther King Jr. gave in 1967, which I think is the speech the president, our constitutional lawyer, our constitutional law professor should listen to. This is the speech that I think is the one that is relevant, the most relevant to our situation today.
Time has come for America to hear the truth about this tragic war. Now, I've chosen to preach about the war in Vietnam today because I agree with Dante that the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in a period of moral crisis, maintain their neutrality. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. The truth of these words is beyond doubt, but the mission to which they call us is a most difficult one. Even when pressed by the demands of inner truth, men do not easily assume the task of opposing their government's policy, especially in time of war. Nor does the human spirit move without great difficulty.
Do you want to? I got it like another minute and a half. Do you want to?
I can listen.
All right, because I think it's important.
Against all the apathy of conformist thought within one's own bosom, there has never been such a monumental dissent during a war by the American people. Polls reveal that almost 15 million Americans explicitly oppose the war in Vietnam. Additional millions cannot bring themselves around to support it. This reveals that millions have chosen to move beyond the prophesying of smooth patriotism to the high grounds of firm dissent based upon the mandates of conscience and the reading of history. Now, of course, one of the difficulties in speaking out today grows out of the fact that there are those who are seeking to equate dissent with disloyalty. It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. Something is happening and people are not going to be silent.
Yeah.
The truth must be told. And I say that those who are seeking to make it appear that anyone who opposes the war in Vietnam is a fool or a traitor or an enemy of our soldiers is a person who has taken a stand against the best in our tradition.
And there you go. That is Martin Luther King. And I think it was, like 10 months later, they killed him.
Yeah. Well, he was causing a problem with this kind of talk.
Yeah, but look at where we're at.
Yeah, no, it's
exactly the same place.
With less dissent, because they figured out that if you don't start drafting, if you don't, that's why some of these Democrats kept saying we have to reinstitute the draft, because they know that would create a dissent situation. This was during the Bush administration, of course.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And people wouldn't want to, put up with these wars and all this other military action. Instead, they created this so-called volunteer army, which is easy to populate because you have a depression.
Yeah.
Nobody can get work, so they join the army. And then you have, it's similar to a draft. They're kind of forced into it, but they volunteered. Hey, you volunteer for this job. That's why we're going to deploy you again and again.
Hey, so you're cutting out again. I don't know why this happens, but it's just started now.
It happens at some point in the day. There's nobody else in the house, so it's not anything.
No,
here.
I'm trying to think if it's. It could be my machine. I mean, we've never really had it that way before, but.
Well, is Mickey downloading porn?
No, she's not here.
Oh.
And it would be uploading, not downloading, just so you know. Anyway.
No, it's downloading.
No, she would be uploading.
Oh, she would be uploading.
Yeah.
What do you guys do at night?
Hello. In the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And all the human resources in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. Sorry we're a little bit late on thanking our executive producers and, of course, our artist, Joshua Pettigrew. Thank you for the artwork for episode 542. Highly appreciated, and looking forward to what else comes up today at the noagendaartgenerator.com.
So we do have we have actually a few mostly associate executive producers to thank, including the Earl of Silicon Valley, Sir David Foley, who came in again with another, this is a 59339, which is the 543 Club, plus 39 cents for some mac and cheese from the grocery outlet, $50 from his No Agenda Value for Value offer, and he'd donate $50 to the show for any item ordered at 4kspecial.com using the discount code NA.
Wow, this is quite a this is an executive producer who comes with his own merchandising deals. George Lucas should be so lucky
with a code.
Yeah, there's a code. We have a discount code.
So what
is 4kspecial.com?
I don't look it up.
Okay. 4kspecial.com. Okay, order. It's wow, he has 4 TVs and displays.
Oh, 4K. Oh,
I get it.
Oh, so he's selling 4K stuff. That's
Ultra HD streaming media players. Wow. Okay. Nice. Discount. Wait a minute. Discount code NA. I'm going to apply the discount code, and let's see what happens. I'm applying it. What happens if I do it here? Yeah, a discount applied. That's cool. So it's $299 for the Nano Sign player, and it goes down to $249. I save $50 on that discount.
We get $50, so it's actually costing him $100.
Yeah. Well, Earl of Silicon Valley, thank you so much. You are a guest we'd like to see here at our table.
It's going to be interesting when things do switch to 4K, because they will eventually. If anyone's ever seen a 4K display, you'll know why. They're quite hypnotic.
Yeah. Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah. No, I can't wait.
Well, I can't afford it.
No, me neither.
Sir Gene Tuliev.
Okay, hold on. We have to stop. We can't go on like this. I'm going to pause the recording for a second. Hold on.
Okay. And we're back. I guess.
All right.
I just give you a little bit of post to do.
Yeah. All right. So, no, I'm not going to do any posting. Are you kidding me? That's fine. People get it.
You don't post?
No, I'm not going to edit the show.
Okay. Why don't you read the next...
Okay. Oh, because you have to open up the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay. Our next executive producer today, with an interesting donation amount, Sir Gene Navtuliev. Sir Gene, of course, used to be up there in Frisco. Now he's in Austin. He comes in with 472.14. Not quite. I've got to think about this number. But he says, Your Royal Highnesses. Somehow it sounds weird. Your Royal Highnesses, I believe this donation grants me rank of Viscount. And henceforth I shall claim the title Sir Gene, Lord Viscount of Austin. Also wishing karma to Lord Melanchthon, Earl of Oregon. Say hi to our mutual friend Sir Dwayne. Hashtag NSA. Okie dokie.
Hashtag NSA.
I think that should just be...
It's very funny.
I think we should just be saying that. Hey, John, hashtag NSA.
Yeah, hashtag NSA.
Thank you very much, Sir Gene, Lord Viscount of Austin.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for throwing down the gauntlet. I like it when he throws down the gauntlet to other peerage members.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is good. That we need more of that.
We need more of that. I challenge you to a joust.
to donating more.
That's
you cheap
right.
bastard.
Let me hand out the karma there.
You've got karma.
So Barry Hanna from Okotoks, Alberta, which is I think where all the money is, came in with $400, but he has no note. I don't have an email. So Barry, if you had something to say it again. And we'll do it. We'll roll it out. But he's probably, counting his money if he's in Alberta. Lou Ayotte. I want to say he's related to Kelly Ayotte.
Yeah, Ayotte, yeah. The Republican.
The one in the little gang of four with McCain and
right.
Lindsay. 345 in Cochrane, Georgia. It's been a while since I've donated over $50, so here's 345 for episode 543.
It's a palindrome. It's a reverse donation. I like that. Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's I tell you can save money that way. Keep up with the good work, boys. This puts me over, so please knight me as Sir WordPress Plugins. So he does. Okay, Lou, you do WordPress plugins. Let's get a lecture on some of these plugins. I love plugins.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the best.
Okay.
Sir Jim's, this is the reason that you don't put the, you don't go outside of what's downloaded, because this was last week's donation, or last show's donation, if you recall. Jim Spitzer.
Sir Jim? Oh, really?
Yeah, remember we did it last week?
No, I don't remember. I
do.
Yeah, okay.
But we'll credit him again.
We'll thank him again. Sir Jim from Massachusetts. Jamaica Plains, Massachusetts, yeah.
And
I have no idea how the back office works.
Well, Eric decided.
I don't care.
Spitzer came in late saying, hey, I'd like to be on by Sunday.
I just don't care. It's fine. I don't care how it works. It's fine.
No. Sir Eric Wilka, $250 from Russiaville, Indiana, United States of America. ITM, Citizen John and Citizen Adam. Here's some value for the best podcast in the universe. I learned that even though knighthood doesn't have as many peerage perks as Baron or Duke, I can still hit some people in the mouth. I changed my office wall card to have Knight of the No Agenda Order under my job title. And I have the No Agenda seal right next to it. Plus, I've always had a good piece of NA art up on the projector when I train people or make presentations. Wow.
He's going to be out of a job soon.
I like this guy.
Yeah. All right.
Good work, Sir Eric.
Good work, Sir Eric. Good work. I love that.
And he's in for $250, which makes him associate executive producer, along with Sir Troy Walters in Geelong, Victoria, $212. The shows have been great, as always. Sorry it's taken so long to donate. The stars had not aligned until now. Can you please cover the federal election in Australia as we go through the final weeks here? I'm sure other Australian listeners will find additional value in the show, hopefully enough to become donors. Oh, and the 212 was selected because of visiting New York in 2008. Changed my life entirely for the better.
You know, I have been following the election, and it's weird because Kevin Rudd made some gaffe, and he said weapons of mass distraction instead of destruction. But you can't find a recording of it anywhere. I wanted to pull a clip. It's impossible. I don't know. Maybe the censorship machine is better there. It works.
Josh Hastings in Chicago, Illinois, $200.33. Adam and John, I've been listening to you guys for about a month now. I was introduced to the show when my old college roommate saw me ranting on Facebook. He suggested I give you guys a listen, as my posts are very similar to some of your topics. In parentheses, he's got the truth. I haven't missed the show since, and makes my commute around FEMA Region 5 a little less stressful.
Wait, where's FEMA Region 5 again?
You have to look it up. Probably in Chicago area.
Yeah, oh yeah, right.
Could you send some karma to my friend Tony Boom for introducing me to the best podcast in the universe? Thanks, guys.
All right, here you go. From FEMA Region 6.
You've got karma.
It's got to be close. If I'm FEMA Region 6, and what region are you?
I think I'm 9 or something. I forgot. I'm going to have to know now, because I think that's the way we should refer to ourselves.
Hello. I'm here in FEMA Region 6.
Baron Sir Dr. Sharkey is in town from Jackson, Tennessee, with $200. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm calling douchebag and all the no agenda human resources who could donate but aren't donating. Douchebag. JCD and AC, keep up the mediocre work you guys are doing. Living the American dream and the mac and cheese life.
The American bargain, he says. The American.
Oh, the American bargain. What did I say? The American burger?
Yeah, something like that. Doesn't matter, because you cut out again, so we're not hearing half of what you say. But we're hearing the good half.
Yeah, Maxwell Fry in Brooklyn. New York, I don't have a comment from him. $200. And finally, 2 more. Baron Thomas Pouliard in Manamana, Bahrain. Added his wife to the birthday list. She's added. Mm-hmm. The Hude and 73s from Bahrain.
Baron Thomas, Manamana.
What's the Hude?
The Hude. The Hude. That's
Hude. Hude.
Maybe that's what you call your wife over there. Hey, Hude.
We should look it up. Adrian Shute in Clearwater, Florida. $200 is where all the that's your headquarters of the Scientology. Associate producer contribution isn't on. You can go driving around Clearwater, and all these guys are like wearing these dark coats in the summer. It's horrible.
Is that the Sea Org that lives out there?
Yeah, some sort of torture. Huh. The associate producer contribution is on my husband's 49th birthday. Put him on the list. I don't see it highlighted here.
No, you're right. It's not on there. Okay, I'll put it on.
I thought it would be appropriate to send this in order to de-douche both of us in preparation for his last year of his 40s. We're longtime listeners, but sadly first-time donors. Thanks for all you do. She needs a de-douching karma and a little girl yay for her husband, Shoot.
All right. I'm doing like...
Shooty, by the way. Shooty. It's pronounced Shooty. Her name is Andrian Shooty.
I'm adding stuff to the list. I'm doing all this stuff.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
Yay! Hold on a second. Let me just see. What's her husband's name?
Dan. Dan Shooty.
Dan. Okay.
As in this used to have Oakland A's had a baseball player called...
It's his 49th? Is that what she said? 49th? Hey, it's my 49th on Wednesday. Wednesday. What is it? When is the 3rd of September? The date I'll always remember.
I don't know.
It's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
Are we going to put you on the list?
Well, let me see. It doesn't fall on a show day, I think.
It's Tuesday. We can do it this Sunday, or you can do it on Thursday.
Do what?
They say happy birthday.
You should be saying happy birthday to me. I'm going to be 49 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means.
One more year until I'm 50?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Huh.
And that wraps up our executive producers and associate executive producers. Thank you so much for helping us out on this Thursday, end of August, as we near the Third World War. It's highly appreciated. We'll try and spend it before the Armageddon. And these credits, of course, are real. You can put them anywhere you like where credits are accepted. And that works in most show business, and it certainly works on your LinkedIn page. A lot of people seem to actually get work from putting or a lot of attention, and then subsequently get work from putting it on their LinkedIn page. But if you have an IMDb, you can put it there, or on your business card, or as our Sir Eric does, is he has it on his wall. And if you want us to vouch for you, no problem. We're not like those phonies in Hollywood. Please go to
Dvorak.org/NA
and help us out for this coming Sunday show. 2 quick PR mentions. I wanted to mention that there is a No Agenda in the Morning Reddit, which seems to be getting more action than our regular No Agenda Reddit. So it's an In the Morning Reddit. And I don't know. I'll take anything at this point. Anything we can get. And that link in the show notes under the PR section. And thank you, Jeff Yerke, for renewing attackvectordashboard.com as a website. It's one of my favorites. Even though the guy's long gone, Vivek Kundra, we still like the attackvectordashboard.com, which, of course, you can use that as well and say, hey, you want to hear a cool show? Go to attackvectordashboard.com, because that will forward you right to noagendashow.com. And regardless of what you've done to help us financially, please go out and propagate our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Look out for the cruise missile! Nice.
You know what's kind of a shame? It appears that SeanHannity.com no longer links to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's dead.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm checking it out now.
Oh, that sucks. That was one of our best ones.
Yeah.
No, it's just not going anywhere now. That's too bad. Oh well. Easy come, easy go, I say. That's how it rolls, my brother.
Rolls.
That's how it rolls. That's how it all.
How it rolls, Royce.
So we apparently we just talked over the whole cheaper than a cell phone bill. We didn't even hear it. We're so preoccupied with doing.
Oh, it was in there. You went and back and listened to it. saying
I got a tweet saying that I'm an idiot.
You guys are idiots.
Yeah,
are you even paying attention to your own show?
Not even paying attention to that. No, we're stupid. I'm a little annoyed by the Skype thing, though. It's just it was great for an hour, and then it just sucks. I don't know what's going on with that.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. I did want to bring a couple things into the conversation because the what's happening in Syria, as we know, it's part of it is, of course, to thwart any terrorist attacks on the homeland, obviously. Because, there's chemical weapons, that cloud can float, and before you know it, you're just dead. You're dead from chemical weapons. Float. And other naughty children might get an idea that they could be using the same thing. So besides that, it's also for the free flow of energy. I did want to kind of show you how everything fits together. And this is something that you have mentioned many times. I finally, because I was doing movie stuff, with the Will Smith movie, with The Enemy of the State. We've talked about how the international banking cartels fit into the whole picture. And this is where you'll see exactly how it works with Greece and with Cyprus. Of course, Cyprus is very important right now. That is the staging ground for all of whatever might happen in Syria. So whether we're going or not, we now have definitely occupied Cyprus. And this is from the movie The International, John, which you have brought up several times on the show. I finally went and got the clip, which is The Essence of Banking. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. This is a great movie for this.
Yeah. So this little piece will make you want to watch the whole movie. It is here's an international banker explaining what banking really is about.
Small arms are the only weapons used in 99% of the world's conflicts. And no one has the capacity to manufacture them faster and cheaper than China. What Skarsen is attempting to do is to make the IBBC the
what happened?
Broker of Chinese small arms to the third world. And the missile deal is the gateway transaction.
Yeah, but billions of dollars invested simply to be a broker. There can't be that much profit for them.
No, this is not about making profit from weapon sales. It's about control.
Control the flow of weapons? control the conflict.
No. The IBBC is a bank. Their objective isn't to control the conflict. It's to control the debt that the conflict produces. You see, the real value of a conflict, the true value, is in the debt that it creates. You control the debt, you control everything.
That's right. You control the debt, you control everything. So, who controls the debt in the world?
I don't know. The IMF, the World Bank, Bank of America, Chase.
I think you nailed
HBSC.
No, I think you nailed it with IMF. I think that is the correct answer. And you can put this in the Red Book. Hungary is cruising for a bruising. And I think you can put in the Red Book, Hungary may be harboring terrorists. Let me think what else. Maybe they just need a total overthrow, regime change or something, because they are skating on thin ice.
There are literally 30 steps between the building of the National Bank of Hungary and the head office of the International Monetary Fund in Budapest, but that is as close as they get. A letter from one building to another at the end of July said that Hungary no longer required the services of the IMF and that its employees must leave the country as soon as possible.
The country's deputy economics minister is tight-lipped on any kind of open hostility towards Brussels, but acknowledges that what the EU bureaucrats are offering does not suit Budapest. His message is we can handle it on our own.
Greece debt level is, according to GDP, after these two bailouts and restructuring and everything, is 160%. In Hungary, below 80%. The European average is now about 85%. We are able to finance the public debt on the market. You have to introduce the reforms which make the country more competitive. And that is what we have done in the last couple of years. And I think they are the good basis to have an independent economic policy.
Next year, Hungary will host parliamentary elections, and some say the hardline stance with the EU may be part of a political campaign by the right-wing leadership. But analysts are not ruling out that should Viktor Orban's government be re-elected, the Prime Minister may take his standoff with Brussels to a completely new level by initiating a referendum on leaving the European Union altogether.
Oh boy. Poor Hungarians. That's not how you play with the international bankers.
So I guess the economic hitmen went in there to make them an offer they couldn't refuse, and they refused it.
Yeah, which is a dangerous thing to do. So this is all.
Well, maybe we'll just give Hungary back to the Russians.
Oh well, no, I think the Russians may have a deal for them. I think this was actually an RT report. So it doesn't surprise me that is a very viable possibility. Now, as part of all of this that is taking place, and we have, so we know what the meme is right now for Syria. There is an incredible push for the free flow of energy in the form of natural gas. In Gitmo Nation East in the UK, there's all these stories like, what do I have here? Worrying decline in oil and gas production. They're doing anything they can to get the price of gas up and anything they can to move people towards use of natural gas, because that is what the fight is really about. The question is who's going to provide the natural gas. And the one side is Russia, and then the other side is everybody else who hangs out with America. Would that be a fair assessment, John?
That's probably yes.
And
I think so.
And how do we move the consciousness? What happened with Germany? Germany, after Fukushima, that's my new name for it, Fukushima. And I have to say I am a pro-nuclear guy. After Fukushima, Germany said, we're closing all nuclear plants. Germany, of course, the biggest
and
customer.
Dumbest, apparently.
the biggest customer of natural gas from Russia. But, they're trying to get it they're trying to hedge. I have a little bit of news because, I have to give you what I think, and it's very difficult, and I'm not going to do too much of this because I'm not a nuclear physicist. I have no credentials. I can throw out picocuries and Becquerels.
Yeah, we got that.
That's my point, is I can't help you with that, but I can give you some. Are you annoyed by this, John?
No, I'm just waiting for you to get to the point.
I'll remember to do that with you.
Well, thanks, but just, keep going.
You talk about movies in the middle of something else.
Well, I don't know what I was thinking.
All right. Okay, so...
That's what you did to me, as a matter of fact.
I know.
I mean, you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it again. Okay, I want to give you some facts on this raising to level 3.
Okay, before you do that, I do have a clip, because I just want to point out to you, because everything you say is true, but I don't think you've taken it far enough. The kind of like, it's like a subversive thing about this nuke power. And here's Amy Goodman, who, and if we've listened to her enough to know that she does everything she can to be totally objective. She goes out of her way to not even bring up any. But tell me that there's not a little bit of bias against nukes.
Who's coordinated projects at 70 nuclear power plants around the country. He provides independent testimony on nuclear and radiation issues to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the NRC, congressional and state legislatures, and government agencies and officials in the U.S. abroad. He's chief engineer at Fairwinds Associates. Arnie Gunderson, welcome to Democracy Now! This is a tremendous victory. Well, for the governor himself, who actually as a state legislator was opposed to the nuclear plant in his own district.
Yeah, this is Vermont Yankee. That is being closed. 600 people out of work. All right, that's a great victory there. No, of course she's biased because.
Don't you think that was a little over the top?
Yeah, but this is look. What's interesting to me? Listen. What's interesting to me is that the alternative media, and I'm talking about naturalnews.com. I'm talking about guys that I've been reading for a long time. We are conspiratorial in our thinking in general. So we're always thinking that the government is covering something up, and we are being duped in this case and being misused into the biggest fraud of our time. And let me just give you a couple of simple facts about Fukushima. The level 3 was only instigated yesterday, not a week ago. The level 3 is not about the current plant. It is not about the so-called 300 tons of water leaking in, because I have all the documents here. You can check them in the show notes from the INES. It is not about the water that was leaking into the ocean, that is radiating the fish. We're all going to die. It is specifically and only about the wastewater storage tank. Nothing else. Nothing else. It is not about anything else. And the IAEA, these are the guys who allow you to use one of these ratings, has urged Japan to now go back and explain exactly what is happening at Fukushima because of the confusing messages they've been sending. This particular event with the water tank has happened several times in the past, except it didn't get a rating. And now all of a sudden it's being used as a communications tool by slapping this rating on it. Okay, you have to understand what's at work here. These are very large forces that ultimately want to close down all nuclear facilities so that we can use another finite substance, another fossil fuel, which is natural gas, and you're falling for the trick. You're falling for it. And the anger I get from our audience, John, the anger. You're an asshole. We're going to die. The cloud is coming. The fish are radiated. No, it's not true. It's not true. I've gone so deep into this with experts.
I don't understand you, Adam, buying into this pro-nuke.
I'm evil. You should send a cruise missile at my ass now. Quick. But it's all part of the same thing, because when we have people stopping nukes and whoa, we're all anti-nuclear, who wins? The gas guys win. And that's what Syria is about. You're a part of the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. Does that make any sense?
Well, yeah, no, and I'm actually a subscriber since it seems to me, especially since the invention of the backyard nuke. I am just beside myself because I would love to have one of these little units, and I never have to worry about being on the grid. None of this stuff. It all goes away.
Yeah. Do you remember the report that we were laughing about, the UT report that had about terrorist attacks on nuclear plants? Another part of the plan to get rid of nuclear power. It was done here at the University of Texas.
Yeah, a total crock of crap.
Yeah, that it had, but the news reports were, the Department of Defense requested this report, and on the report itself, which was done by an undergrad student, they had a little nuclear cloud and stuff. So now the Defense Department had to come out and say they did not request or validate the recent study on security at America's nuclear facilities by the Nuclear Proliferation Prevention Project.
Somebody at General Electric got PO'd and walked in and said, hey,
write this.
No more of this crap.
Here's the quote. The Department of Defense did provide funding to the University of Texas at Austin, but did not request a report on that specific topic, nor did we validate its findings. Oh, by the way, sorry, that wasn't a headline news report in the "we're all going to die from terrorist attacks on nuclear facilities." You're being duped. You're being duped, people. Duped.
So you mean to tell me that the media only played part one of the actual whole story?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Huh. The Hastings Group, by the way, is the PR outfit that you want to be looking out for. They're the ones that do all the anti-nuclear stuff, the Hastings Group. And propagate stories like this, the one that we got.
By the way, I saw this mentioned. I don't believe this is true. The Hastings Group is too lightweight. This is something bigger.
Okay. Well, it could be. You don't think the Hastings Group is big enough?
No.
Okay. So the story that that we were sent, headline: radioactive bluefin tuna caught off California coast. I love it here. This is written by Ann Werner, who looks like a douchebag. And what was the line here? It was something really funny. This incident makes 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl pale in comparison. What? There's warfare being performed on you people. Anyway, I'm just going to have to highlight it once in a while. I just got to highlight that this is fake.
Fake.
Fakeshima.
Well, they shut down Yankee.
Yeah, that's sad. Oh, all right, whatever.
Well, that's 40 years old. Some of these facilities probably
we definitely need to upgrade. I mean, we do not want the 40-year-old technology, but it would be nice to get some of these breeder reactors that have no nuclear waste, that eat their own poop. Literally, there's no waste.
There's a lot of new technologies in this business, that's for sure. I do have a thing that's kind of like I guess it's a trans.
By the way, Sir Gene, Lord Viscount of Austin, is in the chat room. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm not going to buy the backyard nuke for you guys." I'm like, okay, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
Thanks. What good are you?
I want a backyard nuke.
I'd love
that. We can build a place up in the mountains with a backyard nuke.
Yeah. Let's do it on Ruby Ridge. I hear it's good cheap real estate there.
Yes. So. The Brookings Institute had a huge thing on mostly about modern our relationship with Russia and Putin in particular, and we'll play this little clip here of Brookings on Putin, and then the guy talks too slow for me to take a big clip of what he actually says, so I'll finish it because I just think it's kind of fascinating that our State Department, and it was run mostly by Hillary. Well, you'll play this and then I'll explain.
Moving events into them. When it might just be a bad day. But in Putin's case, there is an argument that, having been in control of Russia, roughly speaking, for over 10 years, he sort of is the state in a Louis XIV kind of way. And I'm wondering, to what degree are the problems that Steve and Angela both pointed to in the relationship a result of Mr. Putin coming back into power and his new approach to U.S.-Russian relations?
I think what you say is true. And I would add, Mr. Putin coming back and the fact that U.S. administration's policy towards Russia was very much premised on him not coming back. The reset was exactly, it was all that Steve said. It was a list of very practical, important issues between the United States and Russia that needed to be dealt with, needed to be tackled, and as Steve described, successfully were tackled during the period of the reset. But the reset was more than that. The reset was a bet on Dmitry Medvedev as a new Gorbachev. It was a long shot bet, admittedly so, by people who thought of this whole idea.
Interesting. So they didn't think he was going to come back.
This is really interesting because now this is a Brookings. This is like the deep thinkers. This is no guests at this particular event. And they said that the State Department bet on Medvedev actually around and Putin not making it back into power. And the kicker, and this guy that's talking is a Putin expert, the kicker is there was no plan B if Putin got back in.
Well, yeah, there was. That's not true. They did it today. They had a painting of Putin in women's underwear. Did you see that?
No.
The police seized a painting of Vladimir Putin in women's underwear.
What?
Yes, I'm telling you.
Where was this seized?
In a gallery in St. Petersburg. It's Putin with some other dude in a dress, and he's in like a women's negligee. They're pulling everything out. Anything we can do to discredit this guy. He wears women's underwear.
That'd be a great painting to have a copy of. So the point is that we're just beside. Apparently, the State Department is clueless. They don't know what. They're just floundering.
Yeah,
they're completely clueless about Putin. They don't know what to do about him. They never spec'd him out as taking over again. Apparently, they put all their marbles in the one game with Medvedev, and that was the end of it. And that's why we're in this stupid mess.
So let me understand. Were they were expecting Medvedev, that guy to be? So were they? How does that fit into the whole pipeline gas thing? I mean, were they? This took them by surprise. They thought they had it nailed down. It was all divvied up. It was all set.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Huh. And then Putin went. You know what? Screw y'all. I'm going to take it all. I'm going for the gusto.
Something like that. But on our show, because we watched this transition, at no time in the last 6 years did we ever think that Putin wasn't always running the show and wasn't going to come back. And I don't think we're the only people that analyze it properly. Why? How did they make such an error?
I mean, what? But why would you not even have a plan B in case he did decide to come back? That's
what all the people on this panel all agree. There was no plan B.
Baffling. Well, so here we are. Here we are with this huge scenario, which is, you know, the natural resource oil gas cabal is which is McCain and King and all these a-holes. They're just ready to go and kill people just to keep this going.
It's weird.
It's sad is what it is. And it's even sadder that people don't see it. That's what's sad.
Yeah, well, we see it.
Yeah, we do. Let's talk about the snow job for a second, because there were some more interesting articles that came out. First of all, there was in Das Bild, Laura Poitras wrote an entire article about I'm increasingly starting to believe she's not real. This woman does not exist. So apparently she lives in East Berlin. And she writes this story in, I'm sorry, Spiegel, not Bild, Spiegel. And let me just read a little bit, because this is her own words apparently, and I think it's bullcrap. I woke up last Sunday in Berlin to an email from Glenn Greenwald with only one sentence: I need to talk to you ASAP. For the past 3 months, Glenn and I have been reporting on the NSA disclosures revealed to us by Edward Snowden. I went online to the encrypted channel that Glenn and I used to communicate. He told me that he had just received a call telling him that his partner, David Miranda, was being detained at London's Heathrow Airport under the Terrorism Act. Now, I'm calling bullshit on this. Because, you know, when you are being detained, no one's calling you. No one's calling your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad. No one's calling. And David Miranda certainly was not able to call. You can't even make a call. First of all, it's illegal to use your phone. in the certainly at Heathrow, but even in the United States.
Yeah, in the holding area.
Well, even when you're just waiting to get to the line. And in many cases, there's jamming. You can't even make the call. And then it's like, listen to this prose. For the next 6 hours, I was online with Glenn as he tried to find out what was happening to the person he loves most in the world. Please. What is this supposed to be? A fairy tale? Very, very strange. And then it's just, it goes on and on. I mean, every single meme is hit about how they're trying to make journalism hard to do. I wish it was me. As the hours went by on Sunday...
I wish it was me.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you. I wish it was me instead of David. Let me see. I have never been through a hostage negotiation, but this certainly felt like one. David was finally released after 9 hours. He was forced to hand over all electronics. Using border crossings to target journalism is not new to me. I experienced it for the first time in 2006 in Vienna when I was traveling from the Sarajevo Film Festival back to New York. I was put in a van and driven to a security room, searched and interrogated. The Austrian security agents told me I was stopped at the request of the U.S. government. When I landed in New York, I was again searched and interrogated.
This is not true.
That's what she says. That's what she's writing. It's her words.
I know, but you get stopped by the Austrians and they say, we're stopping you on request of the U.S. government?
That's what she says.
You believe it?
No. No, I don't even think she's real anymore. Come show yourself, woman.
Well, she has been on the Democracy Now! Show.
Oh, you have seen her?
Oh, yeah. I've seen her a couple of times.
Oh, okay. So it's a hologram.
No, she's real.
She's real.
She has a certain nervousness, and she keeps talking about the 40 times she's been stopped.
So here's what's interesting. So as I'm looking around, now we know that Laura Poitras has been financed partially by the Bertha Foundation, which of course is that dude Tabatsnik,
right?
The who is the loathing Jew, as he calls himself, self-loathing Jew. And I come across, and so that he's a member of the Jewish Voice for Peace, which is an activist group against the Israeli government for their policy, particularly against Palestine. And so he funds anything that goes against that, and he also funds Laura Poitras. But here's what was interesting. An organizer of a Muslim Brotherhood rally acknowledged the Muslim Brotherhood's friendship with the Jewish Voice for Peace at a statement at a rally in D.C. led by Egyptian Americans for Democracy and Human Rights. So this thing is getting so deep now, I don't understand. So is now the Muslim Brotherhood indirectly financing Laura Poitras? This is like these groups are this very, very
that's
weird.
The idea. This is like a nightmare for anyone trying to track it down.
It's really strange. Very strange. Anyway, so that's just another little piece of the puzzle that we're trying to figure out here is why.
So you stop this guy at the border, and then you call Glenn Greenwald because you have his number in your wallet to tell him that his boyfriend's been stopped and he's being held for questioning. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, not to me. Anyway, we can rest assured everything's going to be okay because the panel that the president has put together, to oversee the NSA and all the spying that's going on is now going to include and maybe the leader of the team, Cass Sunstein. Cass Sunstein, the man.
Back up. He's going to be in what?
On the panel. The NSA oversight panel. He's now going to serve on the panel.
Really?
Yeah. This is
this guy who is a notorious
douche,
communist.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see how this works out for him.
He's the guy that wrote the white paper that said what the security services in America, the anti-terrorism movement, the Stasi police should be doing is infiltrating our chat room and infiltrating, conspiracy groups. That's what this guy wrote.
Well, I think our chat room has long since been infiltrated.
I know, but still.
What good is it going to do them? They have to deal with Eric.
But to put this guy on the NSA panel, it's almost funny.
Yeah, this just gets worse.
So let's see. He has Cass Sunstein, Richard Clark. Seriously? And Michael Morrell. I remember that. I know that name from somewhere too. Oh, he's CIA, ex-CIA. But just put a bunch of. Don't put any civilians on who care.
Yeah, no. Why? That would screw things up.
Yeah.
Let's see what Michael Morrell.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, he's a CIA guy. Super CIA, by the way. Interesting. Well,
yeah.
While you're...
So I got a thing for you to change topics.
Okay.
Harris County District Attorney Mike Anderson. This is over here in Texas.
Over here in Texas.
This is a letter one of our producers got. Dear Parent Guardian, the Harris County District Attorney's Office and Klein Independent School District are partners in the Harris County Stay in School program.
Oh, I think I got this, yeah.
School attendance is a high priority of my office and the school district. The program is designed to increase school attendance, which is something all concerned parents strive for to help their child succeed. No, it's just because they get federal money. If the kid doesn't show up, they don't get the money. This letter is to inform you of the law and the district policies regarding failure to attend school. It's important that all parents and guardians be aware of the consequences of unexcused absences from school. Under Texas law, unexcused absences are a criminal offense. And both parents and students will be charged. If your child has 3 unexcused absences from school, a warning letter will be sent, and one will be hand-delivered to your child in school. You will be summoned immediately to a conference at the school to discuss and solve this problem before criminal charges are filed.
Shut up, slave!
Does your throat hurt from that? It should. It should.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Do I get to read some email?
Yeah, do it.
All right. This is from, I think you got this too, from Malfiano. Adam and John, I work as a telephony data engineer in Massachusetts. I visit different companies daily and configure or repair their telephone and data equipment. All I hear everywhere is towns are broke, budget cuts in the millions. I'm in the town of Wellesley today at a public school, and here every student in this middle school has an iPad this year. The teachers and secretaries have iPads. They already have MacBooks. Stacks of $500 iPads sitting in this room for 8 to 10-year-olds. WTF. As if that isn't enough, guess what the kids eat here? Boar's Head truck just pulled up.
Boar's Head.
He says, this is ridiculous. I'm pissed. He says he can't believe it. He says, and this is kind of strange.
Yeah, everybody's crying poor mouth, as the old term would be.
Yeah, well, except for the public schools. I guess they're getting all the dough.
Well, somebody's getting the dough to shut up.
And here in the petition avoidance tactics department, as you know, we try to help people understand when you're accosted on the street what to do. Jay sent in a little note. He's been working on his petition avoidance tactics. He says, during my daily running for work today, a woman was standing outside the Secretary of State collecting signatures to, quote, save the wolves. She asked if I wouldn't mind adding my John Hancock to the mix. Looking at her slightly puzzled, I said, but they taste so good. Good one. Good one, Jay. Very good. Yeah. We need more of these, and we need a whole collection. I like this one a lot. Will you help save the wolves? But why? They taste so good. I can just imagine the look on her face. What?
Yeah, most people have they don't cogitate these kinds. It shorts them out for just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, for those of you who, thank you very much, by the way, for the emails. I really appreciate people using the BitMessage protocol to send messages to me. I would like to make one little point. I am not a BitMessage testing service. Do you know how many people, hey man, I'm testing big message. Did you receive my test? Please go somewhere else with, I don't have time to answer all your, if you send me something, I'll send you something back. Not like, just testing to see if it works.
You asked for it. You set yourself up for these situations, and then you moan about it.
Yeah, I'm just pointing, I think I've done my testing. I've done enough now. Anyway, very sad day as Janet Lucy Napolitano said her farewell. She had her farewell at the National Press Club. She is, of course, leaving service now. I think we have in the Red Book that she will go to the University of California system, and she eventually will come back as a Supreme Court judge. That's my guess.
#CIA.
Hashtag CIA. And I watched her farewell speech, and I thought we would listen to a couple of choice bits from her farewell. Here is clip number 1, where she talks about Boston.
Over the years, DHS has supported more than a dozen exercises in Boston, including a large mass casualty event involving hundreds of responders just last November.
You know, I always find these things so coincidental.
And we supported the creation of the Medical Intelligence Center, the only one of its kind in America.
Hashtag Medical Intelligence Center.
To enable information sharing across the Boston medical community. The well-timed and coordinated emergency response that immediately followed the Marathon attack was not accidental. It was the product of years of planning, training, and investment in building state and local capacity. And the quick, orderly, focused, and comprehensive response by law enforcement, first responders, and the larger Boston community on that day saved lives.
Can you believe what is being said here? Isn't that just like the craziest thing?
What the hell's this got to do with her farewell?
Oh, this is her trumping her accomplishments. This is what you got to do. When you're leaving, like, look at what I did.
Immediate control over the scene by law enforcement and assistance from first responders and medical personnel helped triage, evacuate, and treat the fallen and injured. A scenario they had practiced to ensure no one facility would be overwhelmed.
You just keep getting the feeling like, you know, they had all this practice and someone's like, come on, man, enough with the practice. Let's do something real.
Citizens stepped up and played a critical role,
citizen.
Caring for the wounded, donating blood, and submitting videos that helped identify the suspects.
Here's what it's winding up to be. What did you do, Lucy?
A powerful reminder of the role the public plays, not only in providing aid, but also providing useful information. And the reason why, after I became secretary,
listen to this lie.
I called for the creation and then expansion of the department's If You See Something, Say Something campaign.
That is a lie. I'm sorry, that is a bold-faced lie. She did not come up with the slogan. You'll remember this is the MTA in New York who have trademarked If You See Something, Say Something. It was always their slogan to start with, and she facilitated the licensing of that. You'll see, if you see the slogan, See Something, Say Something, it has an R next to it. A little R with a circle, registered trademark of the MTA, the Manhattan Transit Authority. She did not come up with this. You lie.
Expanding it to more than 250 states, cities, transportation systems, universities, and private sector entities nationwide to encourage the public to play an active role in reporting suspicious activity.
And furthermore, during your tenure as head douche of the Department of Homeland Security, never did you have the foresight, did you have the vision to use our jingle in your campaign?
If you see something, say something.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Before she took over the place, from September 4th, 2011. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the date wrong. Well, anyways, beside the point, she already taken over, but the Metropolitan Transit Authority is challenging copycats attempting the trademark for its See Something, Say Something counterterrorism slogan, born on the wake of 9/11. So it showed up right away, way before she got the job. It was trademarked in 2007.
Yeah, and this now, ladies and gentlemen,
MTA.
If you're ever wondering what John is doing during the show, everything that comes out of my pie hole, he's Googling.
Googly, googly, googly.
No matter what I say, he's like, let me see if this is curry's full of crap.
No. That's what you do to me.
Here's a little ditty in her farewell speech that I found interesting. Who do you think the partners are at the if you're the Department of Homeland Security? Who are your partners in law enforcement? Just in enforcing Homeland Security, who are your partners?
I would think the FBI, local law enforcement, state police.
Yeah.
Now,
if you were a fascist, who would your partners be?
The White House.
No.
The Congress.
No, fascist, John. Fascist.
It'd be General Electric. It would be Boeing.
Go. Okay, let's listen to the answer.
Getting to know them has been one of the most rewarding parts of being secretary, and any success we have achieved flows directly from their dedication and service. I've also had the chance to engage partners across the Homeland Security enterprise.
It's the Homeland Security enterprise. Stay tuned to write them down.
Governors and mayors.
Governors and mayors.
Police.
Okay.
Firefighters.
Okay.
And first responders and business and faith-based community leaders.
What? Business and faith-based community leaders? You're telling me that the Reverend's in on this?
Apparently.
This is very strange. I find this to be a strange thing to say. Churches are involved in this Homeland Security enterprise?
Probably more mosques.
Oh, okay. And then finally, she has an open letter to her successor. Now, we don't know who her successor is going to be. We have heard it's going to be the deputy over at the hashtag NSA. This person is still yet to be announced. The media is calling for Ray Kelly, the head of police in New York City.
God.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm going with our insiders who say it's going to be this. What was the guy's name again?
The NSA. That guy. Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, Deputy NSA hashtag NSA. What was his name again? David. I want to say.
Oh.
I know. I hate it. Inglis. John.
Yeah, Inglis.
Inglis.
That guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy who we think is going to be it. Anyway, so regardless, Naps has a little message.
And you will face new challenges that we have begun to address, but that need further attention.
What could it be?
Our country will, for example, at some point face a major cyber event that will have a serious effect on our lives, our economy, and the everyday functioning of our society.
Just so you know, she said that's going to happen. It's a fact. Science is in. Don't be a denier. Our country will have a major cyber event, which will affect every man, woman, and financial institution in this country and Homeland Security.
And
fact.
By the way, that would rationalize Inglis getting the job because the NSA is the ones who are on top of this because they got the $5 billion budget to set up a bunch of brigades of the cyber guys.
Yeah, the cyber offense. The Cyber Sturmbannführers.
While we have built systems, protections, and a framework to identify attacks and intrusions, share information with the private sector and across the government, and develop plans and capabilities to mitigate the damage, more must be done and must be done quickly.
Yes, quickly.
You will also have to prepare for the increasing likelihood of more weather-related events of a more severe nature as a result of climate change.
Oh, yes.
And continue to build the capacity to respond to potential disasters in far-flung regions of the country that could occur at the same time.
And I'm so happy she brought up climate change because it was... Now, we follow these things a lot. What do you do when you're releasing a new record, like we just saw recently with, who's the girl, the Russell Brand chick? Katy Perry. Katy Perry. Remember we had that whole NPR thing about how you promote your record when it's going to come out? What do you do?
What do you do?
You leak it.
Oh, right. You leak it first, then you do a video.
Right. Yeah. So, it got leaked. And guess what happened? The IPCC, their new report, was leaked.
Got leaked.
Yeah. Yes, and it got leaked to Mother Jones, of all people.
Oh, what a weird coincidence.
And they have 5 terrifying statements in the leaked climate report. Are you ready to be terrified?
I'm ready.
Terrifying fact number 1. We're on course to change the planet in a way unprecedented in hundreds to thousands of years. Leaked fact number 2. Ocean acidification is virtually certain to increase. I love the virtually certain. What does that even mean?
Virtually
certain.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It means they're making it up. Terrifying fact number 3. Harmonica. Long-term, sea level could rise to be 5 to 10 meters. That's 30 feet, by the way. Long term.
30 feet.
Yeah, 10 meters is 30 feet.
Yeah, it is.
But that's by the year 2100, John. So, yeah, okay. Frightening fact number 4. This implies a substantial melting of the Greenland ice sheet. And frightening fact number 5. Much of the carbon we've emitted will stay in the atmosphere for a millennium. There you go. There you go. The BBC, on the other hand, they're finding it harder and harder to come up with ways to lie. So they've just said, well, okay, this is from the science editor here at the BBC. Let's see what the headline is. Global warming slowdown has been linked to cooler Pacific waters. Yeah, okay. They're just doing
it. That's not good.
No, people don't understand.
Off message.
Well, yeah, it is off message. I don't know. This is Matt McGrath. Not long for the BBC, I'm afraid. Not no good, Matt. Let's see what the New York Times says. New York Times, their report is climate panel cites near certainty on man-made global warming. Near certainty. So we're getting close. It's almost true.
I thought it was a done deal a decade ago.
No. And it's snowing in Brazil.
Yeah, that's odd.
Is it normal for snow to fall in Brazil?
I've been there in the winter a couple of times. Maybe in the I don't know. Maybe in the northern part where there's some mountains. It's not. No.
Frightening fact number 6, according to the chat room: Janet Napolitano naked. Yes, indeed.
It's the only way she can cool down from global warming.
Oh man! Someone did send me a cool note about the Trump. Have you ever heard of the Trump?
Yeah, the Donald.
No, Trump. That's Trompe.
Oh, the Trump.
Are you familiar with this?
I've heard of it.
The Trump is it's a water-powered compressor.
Right.
And it's technology from like the 1600s.
Right. They still use this technology in parts of Washington.
Yeah. Well, it's apparently it's gaining a resurgence. And what people are now finding out, what they're doing is that so essentially it's a series of tubes. And you take some water and you just, as long as you have a constant supply of water from a stream or something like that, it's 2 tubes and the water goes into one tube and then the bubbles go into another tube. It compresses and then it poops it out and then it sucks in new water and it becomes kind of an energy source. And people are now hooking this up to air compressor generators and are subsequently able to power stuff. I'm like, this is from the 1600s?
Yeah, they were pretty bright back then.
It's really phenomenal. I mean, and
there's a lot of stuff with hydraulics that could be used to store energy. I mean, the thing they use in Washington is they get the generators are going at a constant speed, and when they don't really have any reason to be throwing out the energy, they throw on these pumps. And then they push the water up the hill, and it's stored up there. And then when they're short of energy, the water comes down and it powers the generators.
Yeah,
it's a very crazy thing.
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, it's almost kind of like free energy as long as you have a water source, which is not available everywhere.
Water's moving. It has energy in it.
Well, yeah,
by virtue of its motion.
Right, but it's not an energy that you don't have to burn anything. You don't have to, do anything. Just capture it in the tube, and then it kind of makes it work.
Well, dams are a very good source of energy, but they seem to be tearing them down more than building them.
Yes, well,
I don't get it.
No,
so I got a real news. Play the real news clip. We got this real news.
Oh my goodness! Well, here we go.
And now back to real news.
Yeah, it's not going to be Miley Cyrus. It's Dr. Phil. But Dr. Phil did a bad tweet.
So I listen to you yell, listen to me talk.
Dr. Phil McGraw has been tackling tough topics on his self-titled TV program.
I need you to please explain that
for more than a decade.
That is offensive to me, and it is offensive to my staff.
But this morning, the no-nonsense talk show host is finding himself in the hot seat after show staffers sent out this controversial tweet on Tuesday. If a girl is drunk, is it okay to have sex with her? Reply yes or no to @DrPhil. Hashtag teens accused.
Hashtag NSA. So while we're on real news, I did, of course, watch the MTV Video Music Awards.
Of course you would.
Of course, because, I used to work there, and I'm always interested to see what they're doing.
And I like the fact that they finally introduced a pedo bear to the event.
I think that was fine. The only thing I'd like to say, so they did very well in the ratings, by the way. I think it was a 5.5.
They'll do better next time.
No, but this is already quite good. I think there's 8, 9, maybe 10 million viewers. This is really good. It's a live event, and this is where you can really make your mark. Even on a night when you have the Newsroom and Breaking Bad and all this stuff, people are TiVoing that or watching it, on Netflix or at Amazon, whatever, after the fact. So the live events is where, and I've always said this, is that's where television ultimately is. That's the only place you're really going to be able to make money still. And so they did very well. Very well.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl, exactly. Very well for a completely whitewashed, bland, stupid show. Here's the thing that bothers me. When we have, and this is in my lifetime, we have these live events. Where musicians of the world, where's the protest? Where's the one person? It was such an egotistical show. Yeah, I get it. It's great that we can, it's all the gay rights, and that's all great. And I get it, okay? But it's all so on such a minor scale comparatively speaking to what's really going on. Where's the one person to say, excuse me, President Obama, excuse me, Prime Minister Cameron, excuse me, Herr Merkel? No. Just no. Just stop. Stop with your war. Stop it. Stop it. Not a single person. And also, there's never a conversation about that anymore. NPR did 12 minutes the other day. 12 minutes on Miley Cyrus. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
They shouldn't do 1 minute.
No, it's shameful. It's absolutely shameful. And with these live events, that's what used to be exciting.
Yeah, someone would come out and make some
political statements.
They'd protest something.
Yeah, say something like, hey, enough already. None of it's happening.
Or just get on the microphone and take your word and say, end the war.
How about it? Yeah. Gee.
That's all they have to do. They don't even do that anymore.
No. It doesn't happen
anywhere. I'd like to thank my agent, and I'd like to thank my manager.
God.
Yeah.
I want to thank God.
I want to thank God and my manager.
Now, before we go in, can I do a little just something about the media that it threw me off this morning. I got some news that really freaked me out. It's not like horrible, but I wanted to share it because people have to understand how twisted the world of mainstream media is. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, now you remember that my daughter, I encouraged her to participate in this reality show in Namibia.
Oh, right? It's going to be good. I can tell.
Okay, so, and the whole idea was, it's called Jungle VIPs or something like that. And the idea is that you have these VIPs, you send them to a tribe, and they stay with this tribe for 3 weeks. And, so it's challenging, right? It's, it'll be cool because you see people who are used to the lap of luxury, having to, kill a pig and eat it in the morning and, do tribe-like stuff. Right?
Yeah.
And I encouraged her to do this. I said, look, this is one of these things. Because she said, Daddy, the money is whatever. Because she gets paid nicely for it, no doubt about it. But she says, I really, I'll do it for the experience. I finally convinced her. With others, but I really push. I'm like, honey, when you get to be my age, they don't ask you to do this cool stuff anymore. Go do it. It'll be fun. And I had warned her. I said, first of all, I helped her with the negotiation, that she should get a phone call and et cetera. And she really got one phone call a week for the 3 weeks. So they screwed her on that. But it doesn't matter. She was in touch with her girlfriend, and we'd have, we'd hear that things were okay. And she was, she would say, oh, I got my tribe initiation. I was, we had this whole thing, and she got her tribe name. And so she was really into it. Right? And I had already warned her. I said, this is a reality show. Even though no one gets voted off, they will try to do stuff like starve you, get you drunk, try to cause some commotion, because that's what these reality shows are based on. As long as you're aware of that, then, you should be okay. So she's done. She's on her way back. She's still in Africa, and she calls up. Of all the things I could have prepared her for, what is the one thing that I didn't see coming?
Douchebag producers?
At the very last day, and as they're about to say goodbye to the tribe, and they've been through tremendous tribulations, all kinds of stuff that, I don't even know 10% of the stories. All of a sudden, the African tribe starts speaking Dutch. They put on their clothes. They were all actors. The whole thing was fake.
What?
And she's devastated. As am I. She thought she really went through, this initiation, and the whole time they're just like making fun of the people on the show. So
wow, it's a meta show.
So it's turned into this like Truman Show big joke, where it's like, ha ha ha! Look at what we did to those saps. And
oh man, and that's wild. I don't think you could have foreseen that.
No, and she was devastated. She said, "Daddy, I cried for hours." Because she really thought that she had, because she said, I was so good, I really worked hard, and I really tried to be a part, and she was in the sweat hut and everything, and eating the poop, and meanwhile,
all bull crap.
And these actors, right after everyone went to bed, they go and have steaks in the hotel, like 10 miles down the road. The whole thing with the whole village was a set.
Wow.
But the arrogance, the elitist thinking of a television show. Instead of, here was an opportunity. You could still have a great show to show people getting accustomed to someone else's life. It's just like, fuck you, Africa. My mind is still boggled from this.
That is really something.
And I'm like,
welcome to modern show business.
That's what it is. And she's destroyed. She's so angry about this. She's so angry. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's totally crazy. It's very insulting. I could see her being upset about this for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm upset because I'm the one that said, it'll be a great experience. And if I see this is iWorks, by the way, the people who also produce Celebrity Splash and all that, and that little punk Reinout Oerlemans. If he gets in my path, I'm going to punch his lights out. He's a dick. I could just see them. This is so funny. Look what we've got them doing. They had like the fire rigged. Like one guy was supposed to do something special with the fire, and then it would keep going out, or then it would like flare up really bad. And then the tribe were like, "Ooga booga, you're not doing it right, ooga booga," and they get all mad. Meanwhile, the production guys were sitting there with a gas flame, turning it up and down. Come on. And that is the level to which television has sunken. That's how low it goes. Anyway, so I'm sure I'm not supposed to be telling the story because it's supposed to be some big fucking secret. But screw them.
So they roll it out at the end?
Yeah. And I don't know.
So in other words, is the viewing audience doesn't know either?
Well, they do now.
Well, I know they do now.
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. How can you possibly think that people are not going to talk about this huge hoax? How can you possibly think that that's not going to happen? That everyone's like sworn to secrecy, and it's so funny. What I think is going to happen is they're going to roll it out as some Truman show, like, look at what we did. And it'll be hilarious to see these celebrities being dumb and being duped.
Yeah, that's the way I would do it.
That's the way I'd do it, too.
Because, because the audience, you have to do it that way, because if the audience gets fooled, and then at the end they'll get mad, too.
Yeah.
And they'll be sympathetic with the actors. So if you do it as a meta show, in other words, you show the background, and you show the guys eating steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're going to do. That's the way I would do it.
Yeah, that makes it makes it worse, and it makes it kind of worse. But at the same time, since you're in on the joke,
yeah,
you get to kind of snicker at these idiots.
And of course, what happens is because of the controversy, more people are going to watch it. That's the sick part of it.
Yeah, no, it's totally sick. The whole thing is sick. It's terrible.
However, Reinhold Oerlemans is a marked man, and I have nights. Show me what you got. Make you my bitch.
Well, there you go. So I hope she gets over this hoax.
No, she'll get over it, but apparently they had this whole thing, and where the women in the tribe were like, painting their boobs and running around, and she did it too because she's like, I'm going to be a part of it. That's not funny, John.
Come on.
No, it's
funny in a very sick, twisted way.
I'm sad. I'm saddened by it. I'm saddened by the state of affairs.
Yeah, because she didn't get any. All she got out of it was a deeper knowledge that the whole show business game is crap.
Yeah, I tried that. I said, honey, think of the lesson you really learned. She's like, no, this was not going over.
Screw you and your lesson.
Hey, thanks, Dad. Good advice.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
We do have a bunch of people to thank.
Yeah, and we're not duping anybody, and we're not getting duped, unlike show business.
Yeah, we just tell what we know, and we're not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. That's for sure. Which is why I think we get support. We got some good support today. Earth Plus Technologies LLC out of Stuart, Florida, $169.69. Then a PayPal donation, $150, and it's got apparently nobody. We don't know who that is.
Just PayPal sent it to. Maybe PayPal sent it to us. I just love us.
This, I believe, is the PayPal charge for the MailChimp thing, and it somehow got in here backwards. I don't believe this is just another. I have to ask Eric.
Okay.
Brian Pearson, $111.33. $111 for non-donors and 33 boners. Keep up the fantastic work, gentlemen. Met my beautiful wife 8 years ago. Proof that pickup lines in bars do work.
Oh, wait, he has a picture.
Yeah, he does.
Wifey pic for Adam. Hold on a second. Well, you keep going. I'm going to look at the wifey pic.
Yeah, that's what you do. James LePan Jr., $111.11. Yesterday was the 27th, was my birthday. Can we put him on the list?
Oh, she's beautiful.
James LePan Jr. on the birthday list, please. 27.
Hold on a second. How come I'm doing the birthday list now all of a sudden?
Because it's missed. Apparently Eric was busy.
James LePan?
Capital L, small a, capital P, small a, small n, Jr.
LePan Jr. Okay. All right. Got it.
Tice Burrell, or Tice Barrel.
I don't know. Tice Buttle. Tice Buttle.
In Eindhoven.
Buttle.
Glad to donate to prevent suspicion of being French. It's a new trend.
Yeah. People are like, hey, man, I'm not French. Just so you know, I donated.
$100 from Mac Tank in La Jolla, California. Let's get down on this thing here. Communications 2020, $99.99, Seattle, Washington. Alicia Schlund-Boydian, $88.43 in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I would say Schlund-Bodine, maybe.
Schlund-Bodine. She is got a birthday, and we got it listed. Ryan Merritt in 7733, Hoboken, New Jersey. Arvids Kokoritz. Arvids Kokoritz.
69, dudes!
We did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 469. So it backed off again. Greg Berman in Kentwood, Michigan, 6969. Miguel Gonzalez. It's either Gonzalez or Gonsalves. But Gonzalez.
Probably Gonzalez. I'd say Gonzalez, probably.
6969. London, England. He's going to just 69 his way all the way to knighthood, he says.
Well, what is he saying here?
He said,
this is interesting. So Miguel listens to the show on higher speed on times 1.39.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes when I'm listening to you guys on the stream, the normal stream, it feels like you're both asleep. It's quite funny. Can I just say that from time to time, someone will make a YouTube clip and it'll be of our show sped up. Let me just say something. This is not good for your brain. This is not a good idea. There's, if you need to speed up our show to listen to it, you have problems much deeper than we can solve. I don't understand. John, what is this? What is this? I have no time to listen to the podcast. I have to listen really fast. I have to be really fast. I have to be really fast. I have to be really fast. Why?
You actually do that very well.
But but I don't understand what is the point. Is to save 10 minutes?
I don't know.
I have to go really fast. The podcast is really fast. Oh, this is very fun.
I think you miss too much nuance if you do that.
I think you miss all the nuance. And in fact, everyone is now banned from doing that.
Well, I don't think Miguel's going to listen to you.
Probably
Besides that, he's a 69 on his way to knighthood guy.
Well.
Earth Pulse Technologies in Fickenflack, Black River, Mauritius.
Wow, Mauritius.
Fickenflack, Black River. Okay.
69, dude.
That's it. We end it.
It was
4. Well, 4.
Jeremy Falk. Yes, short. Jeremy Falk in Muna, Yucatan. Huh. He says, I wish I could send more. Maybe by the time JCD is 90, I'll be a knight.
These are
you can go faster.
These are our 6th anniversary celebratory
these are all the ones I'm going to read now are 6666. Mickey Keck in Wyoming, Ohio. That's funny. You could see it. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Sir, I was thinking it's a good jaywalking thing. Where's Wyoming? And someone says Ohio, and they laugh at him. Sir Oscar Nadal in Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. Jeff Dickens in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Edward Sheets in Brewerton, New York. Fleet Larson from Parts Unknown. Sean Coffey, New South Wales, Australia. Anonymous in Kew Gardens, New York. Eric Williams in Guildford, Surrey, UK.
Oh, that's where my old stomping grounds.
Your old stomping grounds. Fleet Larson in Bettendorf, Iowa. Love the show. Great value. Anders Rothman in Sweden. Anders will know why it's funny. Paul Lyon in Slidell, Louisiana. Jerris Corporation in Arlington. Oh, interesting. In Arlington, Virginia, the Jerris Corporation. Hope I'm making it on today's show. Good luck with the mail. Delivered my favorite dynamite duo, Chris Abraham.
Jerris Corp.
Martin Eben in Ulfoss, Telemark, Norway.
Jerris Corp is Jerris Digital Strategies.
Well, there's probably a lot of work for him there.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Jan Krolja Pina in Deutschland. You see if you can pronounce this.
Jan Krolja Pina. Suxdorf.
Yes, Suxdorf. All right.
Come over here and Suxdorf this.
$50 are from the following, and we're done. Peter Totes, Shad Rich in Seattle, Washington. Kyle Bauer, Parts Unknown. Dan Greb in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Kyle Bauer again. I think
came in twice.
Okay, good for you, Kyle. And finally, Philip Meeson in Powys, UK, which I like to say.
And I think, look at Mickey Keck had a happy birthday shout out. That's Eric slipping, man. What's going on?
Yeah, it's about 3. And also,
it's his kid's birthday.
And he forgot his own kid's birthday.
I mean, this is what's wrong with Eric?
It's really bad.
We got a special mention. Oh, this is Jeff Yerke who did the.
I've been working with Jeff for years. We're digitizing every single one of those party albums that was ever produced by Red Fox.
Really?
There's about 100 of them. Yeah.
Well, he says his wife Lori has been battling with some serious health issues, which has us both very much preoccupied. Kind of came out of the blue a month ago. He'd like a little health karma, so I'm going to hand that out to him, of course.
You've got karma.
Sorry about that. Sucks.
And that'll conclude our donors for and contributors to show 543. Got 544, which is a nice number coming up on Sunday. We still need support for every show. So go to Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA. The No Agenda Show has a button, and so does the Channel Dvorak. The No Agenda Nation also has a button you can click on for an alternative source.
Dvorak.org/NA.
All right, here we go. As complete as we think it is, Baron Thomas Polliard says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife. She turns 45 today. Adrian Shutter says happy birthday to her husband Dan. That's his 49th. Alicia Schluntz-Bodian says happy birthday to her soulmate, Sir Scott Williams, celebrated on the 27th. Same birthday as my daughter, who celebrated in Namibia with no food. Miguel Gonzalez, his lovely wife Charlotte, turned 38 yesterday. James LePan Jr. says it's his birthday. Mickey Keck congratulates his wife Joyce. She turns 39 today. Ray Jacob says happy birthday to his dad, who turned 84 yesterday, and his son Tristan, who will be 18 on the 31st. And finally, Andre Mackey, like Andre the Giant. Andre Mackey, happy birthday from your daddy, Eric the Shill.
It's your birthday, yeah.
One of the most discombobulated segments ever. And we have two title changes. Sir Oscar Nadal becomes Baronet Oscar Nadal, and Sir Gene becomes Lord Viscount of Austin. Congratulations. And then we have a... don't worry, don't say it. It's not stuck. You just got it, okay? Here it is. Perfect. Lou Ayotte, step forward, sir. You have supported the best podcast in the universe in the amount of $1,000 or more, and therefore we can proudly welcome you to the Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable, and we hereby pronounce the Lou Ayotte Sir WordPress plugins for you, my friend. We have hookers and blow, Rem Poison, Chardonnay, hot pants and booze, long-haired heavy metal guys and scotch, wenches and beer, rubinettes, women and rosé, geishas and sake, vodka, vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, and mutton and mead, right here at the round table of the No Agenda Knights. By the way, we now have the Bicurious section, which includes the custom kilts and utila kilts. It's in the show notes. I'm going to get me a kilt.
Yeah.
I think it's a good look.
Yo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great look. I like the camo kilt is the one I'm going for.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So here's something that someone tweeted us, and normally John will have the clip. He didn't have it. But after that, I want to kind of bookmark our fantastic donation segment with idiocy in American media, or actually in media in general, because the story before the donation segment was about the European EU media. This is the beauty pageant contestant, John.
Yeah, I right. I feel bad
that you didn't clip it.
Yes, but I have a reason for not clipping it.
Okay, what's up?
Well, my clipping system was down. I had to reload everything, and by the time I did, I lost the. I just had. I have too many clips. That's why.
Yeah, you did have a lot of clips. Maybe I should not play it then.
No, I love this clip. Play it.
Among the five senses, what do you prefer to have if you could only have one, and why? Would you like me to repeat? Okay.
I love that. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Thank you for that wonderful question. If I had to pick out of five senses, I would pick seeing. Because seeing is the best sense that we can ever see, because seeing is believing. And believing into what you see is perfect. And out of all those senses, seeing would really be wonderful because, thank you, Elliot. Thank you so much.
I love at the end of the clip, you got to look at it in the show notes. She answers whatever her answer is, and then she like immediately like struts her stuff and throws out her chest. She's like, "Look at me! Wasn't that good?"
Yeah, I wish we had a better. I wish the clip was so less echoey.
Yeah. That's the only one I have.
We need more of these sorts of clips.
Why?
I think they're the best.
Have you been following this this initiative to get the rest of the 5 billion people in the world onto Facebook? This initiative.
No.
Yeah, it's like with Facebook, and interestingly, the Opera browser and Nokia and all these guys are, like, we're going to connect the rest of the world to Facebook. Have you been following that?
No.
Oh,
I'm not following this at all.
Oh, this is a big push. It's like the one,
why?
Well, why? Because we need to have everyone in the database, of course. Here's a Zuckerberg on CNN India, where they're talking about this. It's pretty funny. I just love the Indian hosts.
The big interview with Facebook chairman and CEO Mark Zuckerberg on the right to the internet.
Zuckerberg wants to get the next 5 billion people access to the internet. Here's more on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
We use things like Facebook to share news and catch up with our friends, but they're going to use it to decide what kind of government they want. Get access to healthcare for the first time ever.
Your healthcare is going to come through Facebook, John. Yeah.
Is he nuts?
Yes.
Connect with family hundreds of miles away that they haven't seen in decades. Getting access to the internet is a really big deal.
This is not the internet. Why is he equating Facebook with the internet?
Oh, he's just saying, he's pretending that it's the internet, but he really means Facebook. But you're going to get your health care through Facebook.
To do it.
It's also good for Facebook and these other companies, right? Because mobile access to the internet is where your business lies, right?
Oh, yeah. If we were just focused on making money, the first billion people that we've connected have way more money than the rest of the next 6 billion combined. It's not fair, but it's the way that it is. And we just believe that everyone deserves to be connected and on the internet. So we were putting a lot of energy towards this.
But it's not about money. Not at all. No, not at all. Little transparent, Mark. It's a little obvious what you're doing. And Opera, I didn't know that Opera was, that the Opera browser, I thought it was, this great, like, it was the alternative, and it's this, non-New World Order.
At one point, like early on in the late 90s, or mid-90s, it was actually a better browser than anything else, and they're the ones who invented tabbed browsing, and it was a compact kernel. It was extremely quick. It was a really good product.
Right. It was a great product. And but apparently they are now on the Nokia phones and all these kind of the low rent phones that the rest of the world is buying to get on Facebook.
Right.
But the way it works is the reason why they're involved in this consortium is because they everything runs through the Opera servers, and they compress all the data so that you get a good throughput, a good experience, a good Facebook experience on your phone in in India, in the outback, or in somewhere in Central Africa. And that's inherently wrong. To be jamming everything through a central server. I mean, you might as well give everyone a BlackBerry if you want to do that. So
they can probably do that. I would run it through the NSA servers and then have them compress it and bring it back out.
Kind of my point is, I was just surprised. I didn't know that Opera did that. I thought Opera were the good guys, but they're not.
Oh, nobody's the good guys anymore.
And someone threw out we've been talking a lot about the email and how that works, and how email is being co-opted as a new marketing platform by Google, certainly, but by others as well. And I went back because I remembered. All of a sudden, I remembered the company that you have to pay money to if you want your email to be delivered. It was called StrongMail, and they changed their name recently to StrongView. And these guys, if you have a subscription to make sure that your company's email is delivered to your clients, I think it's like $150,000 a year. That's just to get delivered. But what's interesting is that even the CEO of Strongmail, I have it here, says that they've been duped by this promotions tab. And I think this is interesting that all these guys, like the MailChimp guys, the StrongView, formerly known as Strongmail guys, they all like, whoa, what happened here? I think this is much bigger than we realize, and we're just not uncovering the real dirty stuff yet.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this picture. And it hurts everybody. I mean, our numbers are down a lot, so drastically. And then I'm still getting feedback from people. I'm collecting anyone who sends a note in. The same stuff comes in. Oh, it says first it was in spam. It says it always came through. Then all of a sudden it started going into spam. So I bitched about that by clicking on a button. It's not spam, not spam. You sure it's not spam?
Yeah.
And then it started showing up in the promotions button.
Yeah.
And so it's just like there's two layers of this. And then meanwhile, there's still other people that said it's never been a problem. So this is not like they're not doing it. They're doing it like in stages.
But hold on. A lot of people are saying, I get my Gmail on my, using the Mail app on my iPhone. Yeah, it's not going to go to promotions there. You're going to get it. If you're using the web interface, that's where it goes wrong. That's where the problem is.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm surprised that I think it's some extortion racket going on here. You just mentioned it, $100,000.
Yeah,
it's a way to make money.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the guys haven't done it.
Well, they've also Google also just released. If you see your search results sucking, which I've been using this Yacey thing. I'm really enjoying the crazy search results I'm getting from that. But they just released Penguin 2.0 or whatever, so now there's even less chance you'll get the search results you want. I guess that's their new slogan. It's like no spam and less good results. That's all coming to you from Matt Cutts over here at Google. And they've also done away with the keyword tool. You know how you could do your see what keyword searches were great for your website. That's all. They've changed that now too. They're taking everything away. I think you're going to see Google in trouble soon. I can feel it, John. Tell Horowitz that, will you?
Well, I don't know who to talk to. The Google people do not have a press agency that's worth a crap.
Oh.
There's nobody to talk to, and then you can ask them all the questions you want. And once in a while, they get back to you on something. Rarely, but they do. But it's again rarely. And if you ask them a hard question, like the one question I keep wanting to ask or get an answer to, I've been bitching about this, is that, and I can see why they're kind of secretive, because I think a lot of the stuff they do is like they don't want to mention it. Their navigator has just gone down the toilet. It used to be the best navigator. You could punch in a number, always take you to the right place, to take you around traffic jams and all the rest. Now it doesn't even show you the traffic jams on the main screen, so you don't know what you're up against. It doesn't take you around any traffic jams, and half the time it can't find the place. And in fact, I was in San Francisco, and it also, the main thing it used to do, the old Google Navigator. So I think they lost a license to something and they bought something else, and they don't want to talk about it because it's it's secret.
Oh, that's why they bought Waze, maybe.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons they bought Waze, but Waze isn't the solution to whatever they had originally. Because here's an example. If I'm in San Francisco, this happened to be, again, just recently. I got something punched in, and I'm going, I see the traffic's blocked, so I take a left and go down another street. The old navigator would recalculate immediately, figuring that you were taking this turn, that's not scheduled for a reason, and reroute you around something.
Right. And
it would just do the crappier versions of these navigators did the following, and now the Google one does the following, which is this: turn around, make a U-turn, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. And I ran into this in Los Angeles when I was going. I was trying to get to the Burbank Airport, but I was out in Malibu, and I was not going to go up the 405 because it was stopped dead. That you couldn't even get on the 405. But it was the shortest route. I kept saying, no, go on the 405. No, I'm not going on the 405. I'm taking Wilshire.
Anyone from L.A. will tell you never get on the 405, no matter what Google says.
The Google Navigator keeps telling you to get on the 405. So I'm going out Wilshire, and it keeps telling me to turn around. And I look at the route. I'm supposed to make a U-turn. I'm talking about 5 miles out. make a U-turn, go back 5 miles, and get on the 405. It wasn't until I was on Sunset, way, way past, where the thing finally said, oh, I see. Oh, you must be going a different direction. And they rerouted me. It took forever. The old Navigator never did that.
All right.
So something's amiss.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying.
I'm sorry, it's a pet peeve.
No. I say Big Short on Google. Big Short. They're in trouble. Sergey just is getting divorced. The whole thing's falling apart.
Sergey's getting divorced?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
Oh yeah, like the
he just got married.
No, he was at someone else's wedding. No, he's been with this girl for a while. She was the genome, like DNA sequencing girl or something. Remember, she had that little company.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've been. I think
that's got to be an unpleasant situation.
Well, I mean, it's certainly distracting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. To wrap it up today, tomorrow we are scheduled to host the next round of the Austin-based Obama Bot Dinner.
Okay, this is going to be good.
And
does that mean we have to talk food later?
Yes. I mean, I have a recipe from Sir Scott of the No Agenda Armory, which he sent me. He apparently was also a chef, but, I don't want to... I want to wing that by you. You tell me if you think that's good.
Okay.
But most importantly, we'll have Professor Russell will be at the dinner, of course.
He's the brain doctor?
Yeah, and I'm going to ask him about this bogative story about these, this was all over the technology news, about scientist controls colleague's hand in first human brain-to-brain interface over the internet.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, he'll tell you.
Bullcrap is what he's going to say, I'm sure.
Well, apparently they got it's a real low bandwidth EKG. He'll explain.
Let me tell you what this is. This is part of course, the president's $100 million brain initiative. You know what this is going to be? This is what they're doing. Pretty soon, we're all going to get used to it. It's going to be so cool, right? CNET. Oh, yeah, it's so cool. It's so awesome. This is high tech. This is great. Yes. Oh, I like how I'm the quantified self. I want to check my brain waves. Before you know it, you're going to go to the airport. They're going to say, oh, yes, please, before you get on the plane, just put the little cap on. Let's see if you're thinking properly. Oh, you have bad thoughts, Mr. Curry. You can't fly with us today. That's where this is headed, people. I'm telling you. This is all about the little brain cap. You disagree?
It's a funny idea.
I would say
the more likely scenario is the last clip. If you look at all the clip lists, there's one at the very end. Play it. And I think it summarizes the show.
Okay.
Too much cleavage.
There you go. That would do it, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't clip everything, but he got that one. Very nice.
Too much cleavage.
All right, a little bit long today, but
we did have a break in the middle. We started late.
Well, no, but I'm just looking at the full recording.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's okay. We are delivering the value. We hope you appreciate the value that we hand out to you. And let us know by going to Dvorak.org/NA. Remember, we need your support in order to continue. Let's see. Anything else? No, I think that's about it. So yeah, on Sunday we'll have a rundown of the Friday night Austin-based Obama Bot Dinner. That should be very exciting.
Great.
It's great.
I love these rundowns.
Yeah, sometimes it's funny. It should be great. Coming to you from the Travis Heights hideout here in the capital of the Drone Star State. Very pleased to be your bi-curious pronounsticator in the morning. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I will not be wearing the colander on my head when I go on an airplane. I refuse to do it. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll talk to you again on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
Too much cleavage.
Adios, Mobo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA